be no fluke. Fernando Valenzuela, at 20 years old, now the author of 4 complete games and 3 shutouts. He's got the individual honors. The team honors go to the Oakland A's, winners of 15 of 16. We'll take a look at both of those as we examine this past week in baseball. We'll take a look at the runaways, the major stories, and the close calls. Perhaps the best save of all came in Cincinnati. We'll get to it as we prepare for another Saturday of Major League Baseball on NBC. NBC Sports presents Major League Baseball, an inside look at baseball and a preview of today's games. Brought to you by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Old Spice, the man scent so many women love. It's a cool, crisp, sunny afternoon in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, a beautiful Midwestern day. With the weather keeping some of the people away, we're expecting an offensive display as the Brewers host the Kansas City Royals. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to County Stadium in Milwaukee. I'm Brian Gumbel. This is a very big day of baseball on NBC. 3 games coming to you. This one in Milwaukee has the Brewers hosting the Royals. Another in Baltimore has the Orioles going against the Red Sox. And a third coming from Houston's Astrodome matches the Astros against the Cincinnati Reds. Some bad news coming out of Chicago this week, not only because the Cubs lost their 10th straight, but because Dennis Martinez, the Baltimore Orioles, pitching in a game the other night at Comiskey Park while heading for the dugout, was hit in the head by a bottle thrown by a fan. The fan was identified by other fans in the stands. Commissioner Bowie Kuhn has let it be known today that Major League Baseball will pay for players to fly to the site of a trial in order to prosecute fans throwing objects onto the field. News of a friendlier note, well, Mike Ivey. He was complaining about not getting enough at-bats in San Francisco, so he was dealt to the Houston Astros. And in return, the Giants get Jeff Leonard and Dave Bergman. Ivey getting a chance to play. This was a very big moment for the Yankees. Watch this. As Sample is the batter, Billy Sample, Rick Cerrone catches one on the thumb. He is out for 4 to 6 weeks. Commissioner Bowie Kuhn caught George Steinbrenner trying to circumvent the rules once again, and so Steinbrenner could not bring up Marshall Brandt. Instead, he brought on Steve Balboni, Southern League MVP last year, playing with the Nashville Sound. Balboni made his debut in Yankee Stadium the other day, went 1 for 2, including this triple up Death Valley. Balboni known more for his strikeouts and his power, but he came in with a stand-up triple. Authentic Rookie of the Year candidate Fernando Valenzuela. How about these stats? 54 innings, 4 wins, an 0.25 ERA, 36 strikeouts, and 3 shutouts. Another great rookie. This one's the Montreal Expos. Tim Raines, he has taken up the slack, making folks forget all about how Ron LaFleur used to lead the offense in Montreal. What's Raines doing? All he's doing is hitting .425 and has 11 stolen bases. This past week, he tied a Montreal record with 4 stolen bases in 1 game. Another man tearing it up, Dave Collins. Last year, he managed to hit over 300, won an arbitration case during the offseason, but hasn't grown fat, leading the National League in hitting at a mark of .451. His counterpart in the American League, Carney Lansford, making that deal with the Angels look very good for Haywood Sullivan and the Boston Red Sox. Carney is tearing it up, hitting at a .472 clip, his on-base percentage, .537. And Gaylord Perry just keeps moving on. He's picked up his 290th career win, but this was a very big moment in the ball game. Watch this. Randy Cobman, a young fan going for a foul ball, gets flipped over the rail, but managed to save himself. May have been the biggest save coming out of the second deck in Cincinnati. And also, as we continue to keep tabs on Louis Tion's attempt to pitch his way back into the major leagues. Remember last week, we told you that he threw a no-hitter in Spokane? Well, he almost did it again. The other night, he came within 1 out of doing the same. With 2 out in the 7th inning, he allowed a double. Louis coming back strong. We're going to step aside for just a moment, and then we're going to talk about Charlie Finley. Gone but not forgotten, as his A's make hay. We'll get to that after this.
There's this argument in football about who's smarter, the offense or defense.
Defense had to be smarter to react to flip-flops and flea flickers. And we drink the best tasting beer, light beer from Miller.
Well, we drink light, too. It's got a third less calories than the regular beer, and it's less filling. And we had to be smarter to react to the Red Dogs and closing.
Okay, Billy. The flanker does it down and out, the weak side linebacker blitzes. What's the nose guard do, huh? Huh?
I don't know.
Defense rests.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I'm Tom Landry. Before I put my name on a contract, I want to be sure that I'm signing up with real professionals. That's why for auto insurance, I signed up with MIC, Motors Insurance Corporation, the insurance that you get right here at your GM dealer. MIC, they're the new and used car insurance specialists from General Motors. So with your next car, become a free agent and sign up with a pro.
NBC.
A little Old Spice has a lot of rewards. Old Spice is the clean, fresh, masculine scent so many women love. So even if you love only one woman, you'll love Old Spice, the man scent so many women love.
Starting with Brewers. Here in Milwaukee, the Brewer fans are justifiably proud of their team, but the big sensation going on up in Northern California where the Oakland A's are starting off hot, and up there they are calling it Billy Ball.
He walks off of first base, cool and slow. Everybody in the park knows he's gonna go. Billy Ball, A's baseball. Billy Ball, A's baseball. He's gonna get home, just you wait and see.
Why is everybody trying to pick off me?
Pulling double steals, playing hit and run. Decoy in the catcher is flaky, but it's fun. Billy Ball, A's baseball. Billy Ball.
You blew that call.
Get back in the dugout,
He's gonna get in trouble, just you wait and see.
You're out of here.
Why is everybody always picking on me?
The A's play Billy Ball, and Martin gets most of the credit. But the almost forgotten architect of the team is 2,000 miles away in Chicago. He's Charlie Finley, the much criticized former owner. Remember, he made the moves that make Billy Ball possible. To name a couple, he drafted Mike Norris and Ricky Henderson and traded for Rick Langford and Tony Armas. So naturally, Finley's still emotionally tied to the team.
Charlie, what do you think when you read how well the team is doing? What goes through your head?
Well, Russ, it makes me feel very happy. You sign a group of young ball players, and you see them become stars. You have to feel happy for them. The best and biggest deal they ever made was the one that we made with Pittsburgh when we sent Phil Garner to the Pirates, and in return we got Tony Armas, Rick Langford, Mitchell Page, Doug Bear, who incidentally we traded to Cincinnati for Dave Reverend and $400,000. Doc Medich, we sold to Pittsburgh to Seattle for $100,000. Dave Justy to the Cubs, and Miguel Delaunay to the Cubs. We sold each one of them for $100,000. So that not only was the biggest deal that I ever made, but it's the best deal I ever made.
Now, you brought in Billy Martin. Tell me about that decision.
Well, Billy Martin, to me, is the finest manager in baseball today. Billy and I had conferences frequently, the same as I did with other managers, but not as much with Billy because I could depend on him. I'd have to say that it wasn't necessary at all to work with Billy Martin 1/10 as much as I did with other managers.
What was the biggest disappointment?
Well, the biggest disappointment that I've had in baseball is when Bowie Kuhn, the commissioner of baseball, canceled my deal that I made with Boston, the Yankees, for 3 ball players totaling $3.5 million. I was selling to Boston Raleigh Fingers for $1 million, Joe Rudy for $1 million, and Vida Blue to the Yankees for $1.5 million. That's $3.5 million. I needed that $3.5 million to stay in baseball because I knew those players were going to become free agents at the end of the season. I got absolutely nothing for them, and I needed that money very badly. And now Bowie Kuhn is leading the battle of baseball in an effort to get compensation for players lost in the free agent draft.
Of course, the current A's are Billy's team, but they're Charlie's too. Billy calls the shots. Charlie provided the ammunition. This is Les Dennis, NBC Sports.
Winners of 15 of 16 this year. The Oakland A's are assured of having Mike Norris in the fold for another 5 years. He signed a multi-year contract and got what he was worth. At least he thinks so. We're going to step aside for a moment. When we come back, we're going to talk basketball and be joining Billy Packer. News from Ralph Sampson. We'll get to that in a moment.
You think you've got lawn weeds? Well, join the club. There you are, clover, plantain, dandelion, you name it, all the major ones. At Ortho, we grow them to learn how to kill them. Weed Be Gone does the job. It kills these weeds, roots and all. Look, you'll never meet all these weeds in your lawn, but you'll be ready for the ones you do. At Ortho, our concern for lawns is always growing.
Read it back. That package must be here by spring of '76, or the proposition is terminated.
That is telling them.
Tell them I gotta have the package in 3 months or forget the whole thing.
I hear you 2 weeks. You got it? 2 weeks.
I need it tomorrow. Just when the need for Federal Express came along came Federal Express. When it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight.
Arnold Palmer, Sammy Snead, Don January lead the greatest names in golfing history in the Legends of Golf later today on NBC.
Let's turn our attention now to basketball. Midnight tonight is the postmark deadline for hardship application to the NBA. Among those the NBA scouts have been drooling over is Ralph Sampson. He has made his decision known. He's going to stick around and play another season at the University of Virginia. Billy Packer is standing by in Baltimore. Billy.
How you doing, Brian?
What was the basis of Ralph's decision?
Well, he felt all along he wanted to stay in the collegiate situation for at least 1 more year at the University of Virginia. I've been talking to him throughout the week. He's really been harassed with this decision. But I think he just came down to the fact that he wants to stay at the University of Virginia. There is no solid offer whatsoever that he's ever had to refuse because nobody would ever give him an offer in terms of a certain figure.
Now, that's a bit contrary to what we had all heard. We had all heard that the Dallas people and the Detroit people had gone and made offers to him.
Well, they had been there to talk to him, and primarily, of course, neither one of those clubs, because of the coin flip, are even a position to guarantee that they'd be the club to draft him. And that's part of the controversy involving these so-called hardship players. None of them can negotiate from a standpoint that they know exactly who they'd be playing for.
You obviously think there's something wrong with the system.
There's no question there's something wrong with the system, that it has to definitely be changed. It doesn't favor anybody right now. It's tough on the kids, and I ought to call them young men because to go through the pressures they had to come up with some kind of decision is very difficult. It's bad for the collegiate coaches, for their universities, and to be honest with you, it's really bad for the NBA, and most of their key people agree.
So Ralph's decision was based solely on the fact that he wanted to come back to Virginia and that he didn't have a hard and clear offer.
That's right, and you know what's really tough too about this thing, Brian, is the fact that nobody can really give him this kind of information. I tell you, we talked to him earlier today and to Terry Holland. Let's go and see exactly what they had to say up in Charlottesville.
Well, last night about 12 o'clock, I made a call to Coach Holland and told him that I would be staying at the University of Virginia, and I would like to announce that at that time.
Why did you decide to stay at the University of Virginia?
Well, academically, it's a great school to be at. It's on the up program. We made it to the Final Four, as everybody knows. And the coaches, the team, and the staff here are just, you know, one in a million, like any other place in the country.
This has really been a tough week for you, handling questions and handling this decision, hasn't it?
It's been a tough week. Things have gone good, things have gone bad. In between, every which way else, and you know, it's been tough, but it's over now, I think.
Did anyone have any influence at all on your decision?
Not really. I had to make my own decision. My mom was telling me to make your own decision. I'll be happy with whatever you was. My dad was telling me the same thing, and I pretty much made it on my own, but as far as when it happened, I thought about it both ways, and just came up with staying.
You know, the good thing about it is Ralph's been such a dream through the whole thing. He's never wavered. He has an idea of what he wants to do. He knows that he's got to listen, and that's exactly what he did. And I encouraged him. I said, Ralph, take your time. Make sure you're doing the right thing, because I'm in a no-win situation, too. It's very difficult for me to help him in that situation.
All right, how do you look at the way the NBA handles the hardship status with collegiate basketball players? Would you like to see it any differently?
I think it would have to change. There's a lot of things that I think need to be changed. For one, the coin flip after the draft, I think a player doesn't know really what he has to deal with when he's dealing with two teams, and that part right there was just very hard for me to deal with, and I think a few more rules need to be changed for NCAA and NBA rules.
A young man has to grow up in a hurry. Just 2 years ago, he was trying to decide on the college. Last year, it was Red Auerbach in the Celtics. Now he came through another decision. In between, he's been Player of the Year and led his team to the Final Four. Quite a young guy, that Ralph Sampson. Brian?
There are two others that people are interested in, Mark Aguirre and Isaiah Thomas. What do you hear? Are they coming out?
Well, we understand that Isaiah Thomas is coming out. Now, I find that very hard to believe and kind of discouraging in a way, because it would be tough for him to make such a decision. Mark is going to hold a press conference on Monday, so I haven't heard of him. And all of the guys, Brian, are under very, very terrible strain. I think the system stinks and it needs to be changed.
Okay, Billy, thank you. I might add that report of Thomas coming out is for the moment an unconfirmed newspaper report. Billy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, Ralph Sampson sticking around for another year of basketball, and of course you'll see him on NBC next year. We've got baseball to come. The Astros, the Reds, the Brewers, the Royals, the Red Sox, and the Orioles. I'm Brian Gumbel. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for the best in baseball on NBC.
Saturday, Sean and Oz Bowser rocks with Barbara Mandrell and the Mandrell sisters. And on BJ and the Bear, BJ's life is in danger when he loses his memory. Then, Buford takes on the Brotherhood.
Take it!
Walking Tall. And on late night, an encore presentation of Saturday Night Live. It's music, mystery, and mayhem Saturday on NBC.
Since January, Solozzi Edelson Chevrolet has advertised that we would beat or match any bona fide deal on a new Chevrolet car or truck.
Or we refund the difference in cash. To date, no one has claimed this cash.
We also offer the lowest interest rates anywhere to qualified buyers.
So visit Solozzi Edelson now for the best deal. York, Roosevelt Roads, and Elmhurst. We're hard to find, but tough to beat.
Give that man a blue ribbon.
How about a beer? What? Absolutely.
When the real taste of beer is everything you thirst for. The original Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer.
I'm Mike Jackson. I'll give you the news behind the headlines on News Center 5.
Last year, George Brett was the player of the year. Who can ever forget that great year when it looked like he might hit 400? In the World Series, here's his home run in Game 3. Listen.
So, George Brett with 2 outs and nobody on. Well hit. This ball may be out of here. It is 1-0. Listen to this crowd.
George Brett is off to a slow start this year. Last year he hit 390. Some think he'll even hit higher this year with the slow start. But it'll be Brett, Willie Wilson, Hal McRae, Willie Aikens, Amos Otis as the Kansas City Royals go against a hard-hitting Milwaukee club. They'll all be in that lineup for the Brewers. Molitor, Yount, Cooper, Heisel, Ogilvie, Simmons, Thomas. Should be a lot of fireworks. George Brett in Kansas City against the Milwaukee Brewers this afternoon right here.
NBC Sports presents Major League Baseball Game of the Week. Today from County Stadium, the Kansas City Royals against the Milwaukee Brewers. The Game of the Week is brought to you by Gillette, makers of Right Guard. A man works hard, but Right Guard works harder. Now there's new hard-working Right Guard Solid, too. And by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to test drive the EXP, America's new personal sports coupe. And by Federal Express, when it absolutely, positively has to be there overnight, Federal Express.
It is a cool, crisp afternoon here at County Stadium. They say the temperature is 40 degrees. It's a kind of a day a pitcher likes to hit those batters right on the end of the bat and put those bees in them so they're not too anxious to hit. Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Garagiola. Alongside me, Tony Kubek, as always. And Tony, this Kansas City Ball Club is off to a slow start, but last year they really didn't jump out to a fast start either.
No, they didn't. They were 13-13 at one point during last year, but they didn't have an Oakland A's standing 15 wins and just one loss behind Billy Martin. They've been getting good pitching, but they haven't been hitting. George Brett does not yet have an RBI. I think George Brett is going to find out, like most MVPs or players of the year, that teams will not pitch to him this year unless Willie Wilson starts hitting. He's at 190. Aiken starts driving and run. Otis starts hitting. So until the rest of the Kansas City Royals start hitting, they're not going to pitch to Brett.
Do you think that the Kansas City club is looking at the Oakland standings right now, or do you think they're saying it's too early in the season?
What was the first thing that Jimmy Fry, Kansas City's manager, said to us when we entered the ballpark this morning? What did Oakland do last night? He found out they won again. He said, uh-oh.
You know, one of the things that people are saying that this may be a preview of the playoffs between Milwaukee and Kansas City. These Brewers got a good hitting ball club.
They're in the toughest division, I think, in baseball, Joe. They're going to hit, but I think where their real strength this year lies in the middle of the diamond, with Simmons behind the plate, Yount at shortstop, Jim Gatner at second base, who made two outstanding plays last night, Malter in center field. They may be the strongest team in baseball by the end of the year in the middle of the diamond.
And he hasn't even mentioned Ogilvie and Gorman Thomas. They'll be out there, too. It'll be Vukovich for Milwaukee, Larry Gora for Kansas City. Plenty of baseball right here this afternoon.
Right guard knows a man needs all the protection he can get. That's why a man needs right guard. Right guard has a male effectiveness formula so strong, no matter which right guard you choose, it helps stop a man's perspiration odor all day long. A man works hard, but right guard works harder. Now there's new hard-working right guard solid, too.
Here comes Johnny Rutherford. Three-time Indy 500 winner. To protect that engine at blazing speed, he runs with Pennzoil. Johnny's wife, Betty. She uses Pennzoil, too. But she uses Pennzoil's regular-priced, gas-saving multi-weight oil. Pennzoil. For cars like Johnny's and Betty's and yours. Gas-saving Pennzoil. Quality in every extra mile.
Dorsal, you did remember to send the document to Denver.
Denver.
You know the deadline's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Bigot, I assume you sent the slides to Seattle for the sales meeting tomorrow?
Fortunately, Bingham here sent the blueprints to Birmingham for the big meeting tomorrow. Isn't that right, Bingham?
Next time you blow it, remember, there's always Federal Express, but it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
I'm George Brett, third baseman for the Kansas City Royals.
And I'm Ken Brett. I pitch for the Kansas City Royals.
And we're here today to give you the Kansas City Royal lineup here in Milwaukee.
Leading off for Kansas City will be our center fielder, Willie Wilson.
Playing shortstop, batting second will be the shortstop, UL Washington, who's probably carried us to our 2-1-8 record so far.
Main reason for that. Hitting third will be our DH, Hal McRae.
And playing third base, hitting fourth will be George Brett. That's funny. I'm only hitting 220. I'm hitting fourth, and I don't have an RBI yet.
Batting in the fifth position is Willie Aikens, our first baseman.
And left field, who you might have saw last year playing center field, is Amos Otis, hitting sixth.
And catching and batting seventh is John Duke Wathen.
How come they call him Duke?
He thinks he's John Wayne.
Playing right field, batting eighth, is Cesar Geronimo, who used to play for the Cincinnati Reds for all those years.
And batting ninth today is our mystery man. It's either going to be Frank White or Dave Chalk, depending on how Frank's leg is.
And pitching, I think, will be Larry Gura, and we're expecting to finally break out of our big slump today and hand these Milwaukee Brewers a big loss.
As you look at George Brett, and how would you like to have the biggest worry in your life be whether George Brett's going to drive in runs or hit 300? But getting to the lineup that he mentioned they weren't sure, Dave Chalk will replace Frank White, who has a bad leg.
Defensively for the Brewers, Ben Ogilvy in left field. Paul Molitor converted to a center fielder from second base. Gorman Thomas moves over to right field for Milwaukee. Don Money at third. Robin Yount at short. Jim Gantner at second base. Cecil Cooper, a Gold Glove down there at first base. Ted Simmons behind the plate, and Pete Vukovich. He's a man who came in the big trade with the Cardinals.
Jim Fry, as he came out, Tony, we just touched on it as we look at Vukovich coming out there. He is looking at the standings, 15-1. That's 14 over 500. That's the way to look at it with Oakland. And you got to be looking at it.
Well, Kansas City right now in 7th place, the lowest they have ever been since this club came into existence. They are 10 games out, and at any time of the season, Joe, 10 games is a lot to make up. The way they can do it is they still have to play Oakland. They're going to have to beat them head-to-head, and it's too early to be talking about a critical situation, but they're going to have to start winning some ball games pretty quickly.
I tell you, when you look at those averages, it's just a bit scary. Brett hitting 211. Hurdle is on a disabled list. McRae's up to 268. He had a big night last night. Otis is hitting 143. UL Washington, total 353. He's hitting. Wathen is hitting 214. And Willie Wilson, combined average of 190. To sound more like, as you look at the statistics on Vukovich, those batting averages sound like area codes more than they do batting averages.
Vukovich, a man who came from the Cardinals, you saw his 1980 stat just up in front of you a moment ago. This year he's no wins and 1 loss, has had 2 starts. He has not pitched well. He's had a control problem. He has excellent change of pace, good sinker. I think he intimidates some hitters, Joe. He is not afraid to pitch inside. He will move hitters off the plate. He's a very tough kid.
He has that convenient wildness, which is high and tight. As we look at the plate umpire, Lou DeMuro. At first base will be Nick Bremigan, and Mike Riley will be at third base. We name them that way. They're only working with 3 umpires. Larry Barnett, the 4th man on this team, is out with a pulled muscle. He was running down a ball in the outfield, trying to call a play, and he pulled a hamstring, so he's out of it. Willie Wilson will lead it off against Vukovich, who is 0-1, 9.31 earned run average in 2 games. There's a base hit, and we're liable to see a merry-go-round right from the very first pitch. Wilson is on.
Well, there's no doubt. It was said last year, will be said again, that Wilson is the man who's the key for this ball club. In spite of all the other great hitters, he is.
Tony, that defense they had last night at first base with Wilson on was kind of interesting.
See if they do it again with Vukovich pitching. Cecil Cooper last night, as we look at UL Washington, played behind Wilson. Chuck Tanner started that a couple of years ago when Morgan was stealing so many bases and Brock. He's not doing it today, though, Joe. He's playing on the bag for Wilson.
This is UL Washington. Split screen. You see Wilson with a good lead.
UL, the hottest hitter on this ball club, which is why he's down in the lineup batting second. Ideally, Fry would like to have McRae hitting number 2 in front of Brett.
UL Washington minus his toothpick. Remember in the World Series, his constant companion. Nice play by Don Money. Long throw. They get him. He saved a 2-base hit and a run.
This defensive infield is outstanding. Money just made a great play. Money does have records in both the National American League for consecutive chances. He spent a whole year on this infield and made just 5 errors on a dirt and grass infield. From foul territory, Joe, will show you his range, and the thing that made that play so outstanding, with UL hitting with a bunt threat, he was playing even with the bag, and he still reacted and caught a hard hit ball.
And UL Washington, a pretty good runner. Here is Hal McRae. McRae hitting at 268. He had 3 base hits last night. Right field. Gorman Thomas in. Got it. Made the play. Another fine defensive play by the Milwaukee Brewers. They're taking base hits away.
Most popular Milwaukee right here, the popular player, Gorman Thomas, an outstanding shoestring catch. He's the only outfielder I know who practices that play in spring training. He goes out and he asks them to hit sinking line drive, and he dives for balls, and he just saved a triple. He misses that ball, it may be all the way.
So there are 2 away as we look at Gorman Thomas, who just came up with a great play on the heels of the play by Don Money at third, and George Brett is the batter. Brett 0 for his last 10. He is looking for his first RBI. So he's got some IOUs out there, and somebody's going to pay dearly.
He had 2 shots last night, one to short, one that Gantner converted into a double play with the bases loaded.
As you watch George Brett hit, one of the things they all talk about as he waits for the pitch from Vukovic is his ability to keep his head still while he swings. Concentration. There's a hot shot. Base hit, right field. Willie Wilson comes around to throw, and not even throw, he holds it. Tried to get Brett to make a big turn. So it's 1-0 Kansas City. For a minute, it looked like Gantner was going to come up with that one, Tony.
This grass slowed the ball down quite a bit. It's interesting last night as we look at Gantner, who is an outstanding second baseman. He played third base last year when Money was hurt off and on and Bando was hurt. Last night, Gantner made an outstanding play up the middle of the diamond on Brett, and line drive 1 hop. This time, it shows you why Brett is so hard to play. Hit up the middle of left field last night. He pulls the ball this time, so an infielder doesn't have a chance.
Brings up Willie Aikens, and remember in the World Series how they kept measuring whether Willie was in the box or not. Let's see if they do that today. Back foot of his. 1-0 Kansas City leading. George Brett gets his first RBI of the year. Aikens hit a home run to the opposite field last night. He's deep in that batter's box and just strides into the ball. There's a look at that back foot. Might be cheating a fraction.
Go up on that front toe. Balls hit to right field will be helped a little bit by a crosswind today. Wind blowing from the left field corner to the right field corner. Look out.
Well hit. Way back to this one's gone. 3-0 Kansas City. And Aikens is just now getting to first base. He enjoys watching that ball leave the ballpark. He had 4 home runs and 9 RBIs against Milwaukee last season. And he's got 2 home runs and at least 3 RBIs that I know of in 2 days here.
Marty McKenzie, the third base coach. Really few people remember that the second half of last season when Brett was in his hot streak, part of the reason was hitting behind him was Aikens, who drove in almost 70 runs the second half of the year. So they had a pitch to Brett last year.
You need that guy behind you. And there you see Aikens. Kansas City out in front, 3-0, a big inning. Otis, strike 1.
Man who very quietly had an outstanding World Series last year. Amos Otis.
Bunted foul.
Joe, this looks, as we look at the replay again, looks like a changeup that he just waited back on. Slow curve or a straight change. But he waited, and look at the reaction from Aikens. That ball went in, what, a dozen rows?
At least.
You got to say 420 feet.
It's his 3rd home run of the year. Well hit, center field. Molitor going back. He makes the catch. That ends the inning, but the Kansas City Royals, with 3 runs, take the lead 3-0. The top half of the first, Milwaukee coming to bat.
Time now. Action. Creation of a new personal sport coupe. Ford EXP.
the bringing together of you and a beautiful package of world-class technologies with front-wheel drive, four-wheel independent suspension, a shape that slices the wind, and built with Ford's commitment to quality. Tomorrow is here, the 1982 EXP from the world of Ford.
I can tell a real cowboy from the drugstore kind, clean across Texas. The way he wears his hat will tell you. And the beer that you drink's a surefire giveaway, too. A lot of us drink light beer from Miller. We love the taste, but we surely appreciate that it's got a third less calories than the regular kind. You see, you don't want to be filled up when you're out there punching doggies. Ain't that right, cowboy?
I didn't punch that doggy.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Competes on NBC Sports World tomorrow.
Good afternoon. This is Sal Bando giving today's starting lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers, who have a 4-game winning streak going into today's game. Leading off for us and playing center field is Paul the Igniter Molitor. Hitting second, all-star shortstop Robin Yount. Hitting third and playing first base, Cecil Cooper, who can make his bat talk. Unfortunately, right now it has strep throat. Hitting fourth is our designated hitter, Larry Billy D. Heisel. Hitting fifth and playing left field and last year's co-home run champ is Ben Ogilvy. Hitting sixth and doing the catching from the St. Louis Cardinals, Ted Simba Simmons. Hitting seventh is the right fielder and 2 years ago the American League home run champ, Gorman Thomas. Hitting eighth is the third baseman, Don Money, and ninth is our second baseman, Jim Gumby Gantner. And doing the pitching for us today is Pete Vukovich, also from the St. Louis Cardinals.
Defensively, Amos Otis has moved to left. Willie Wilson center. Cesar Geronimo. Clint Hurdle is hurt with a bad back. He had a good start. Don't know how long he'll be out. Brett is at third. UL Washington at short. Dave Chalk playing for the injured Frank White, a slight muscle pull. Willie Aikens at first. John Wathen behind the plate. And Larry Gura, who won 18 ball games last year. Been quite a buy for this Kansas City ball club. Very steady. Will not strike out a whole lot. Throws what looks like a little bit of a screwball. And I always read the pitch that Carl Hubble, they say, he called it his fadeaway. It isn't exactly a screwball, but it kind of moves away from right-handed hitters. And can be sneaky fast.
Gura averaged in 1980 3.59 strikeouts per 9 innings. And there you see his stats. 78 base on balls on 97 strikeouts. The earned run average leaders, American League, Rudy May 2.46, Mike Norris at 2.53, Burns 2.84, Matty Keogh 2.92, and Gura 2.95. Here's Molitor. Ball one. He's had a bad leg.
Jose Martinez moving the defense around, shifting him to right. That was Billy Connors, the pitching coach, next to him.
Out of play.
Molitor pulled a groin muscle up in Toronto, going back into the first base bag. Tour's the kind of pitcher that can give this ball club trouble because he's got such good change of speed, which is. Brewers are a free-swinging ball club. They like fastballs. They do not like to walk.
I tell you, I saw them. They spring train in Sun City, and they really, they have an awesome lineup. They have some hitters. Outside. Nothing. Kansas City leading. Base hit, foul, curve foul, pulled it foul.
How's that upsetting the defense? They shift him over to the right field line, give him the left field line, change up inside that he pulled. Joe, you spent some time in Arizona. There's Brett. Look at third base umpire Mike Riley. Gura trying to push it foul. Riley right down the line, just fouled by about a foot.
Right field. Geronimo, one out.
Joe, you spent time in Arizona. You saw some ball games, and you sit in the stands with super scouts, guys like Bob Sheffing. Many people feel, I've heard scouts say, that the Milwaukee Brewers are the best hitting ball club in baseball. What were some of the guys saying out there?
Well, maybe not call it the best, but they kept talking about how many runs they're going to score, and they kept saying, for example, when the Milwaukee Brewers and the California Angels hook up, it's going to be a 29-23 game. It's just awesome up and down the lineup as we look at Robin Yount. Yount hitting 175 off to a slow start. But here's another one of those guys that you just know he's going to hit. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Cecil Cooper on deck, practicing his Rod Carew batting stance.
George Brett cuts it off in time. 2 up, 2 down. You talk about one of the forgotten stories. Cecil Cooper last year hit .352, played 153 games, 219 hits, 25 home runs. We look at the play again. 122 runs batted in, Tony.
Well, the man who just made the play overshadowed everybody else in baseball, or in the American League anyway. Cooper, Yount, you had some of the extra bases. Ogilvie and Reggie Jackson tied for the league lead in homers at 41.
Easy play. Chuck to Aikens. 1-2-3 for Milwaukee at the end of an inning. It's Kansas City 3, Milwaukee nothing.
Nobody has to tell me to get on the stick. With the wide stick, I don't waste time or money. See, Speed Stick deodorant is so much wider than the other leading stick. Gives you effective protection in just a few strokes. And if you've been using an aerosol, look, you'd use up 2 3-ounce sprays and start a third before you'd use up 1 2.5-ounce Speed Stick. So get on the stick.
Makes sense.
Speed Stick deodorant, the wide stick.
By men.
Perhaps no people on Earth enjoy photography more than the Japanese. And because they've been first with so many innovations, no camera company is more responsible for this than Pentax. First, where it means something to be first.
When we tell you Michelin radials last and last.
Well, that's no surprise.
When we tell you Michelin radials save gas.
That's no surprise.
But when we tell you you can get Michelins for about the same price as other leading radials.
Now that's a surprise.
But it's true. We're America's fastest growing tire company. We make the tire you need at a price you can afford. See your Michelin dealer and prices set for your car. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Michelin, we put America on radials.
I have returned to watch the Brewers. Doug MacArthur. And if you wonder what NBC means around the country, here in Milwaukee, there it is. National Brewery Capital. John Wathan leads it off. Kansas City's out in front 3-0. Ball 1. Big guy, 6'2", 205, 31 years old, born in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Larry Gura got a good Christmas present from his wife. Karate lessons. Said it's really helped him. Said he took a tip from Steve Carlton, who's been involved in it. Several other players. He feels a lot stronger.
How to play. That is true love when your wife gives you karate lessons. She's got to have utmost confidence in you and deep love. Bouncing ball, Robin Yount, short hop, waited for it, Tony.
You know, that can happen to a team after they've played some on artificial surface. The Brewers are up in Toronto on the turf where you wait on the ball a little bit more, then you come back in your home park with slow grass. Took this guy 6 years before he settled down into becoming an outstanding shortstop, and that happened last year. He's a guy who's been in the big leagues about 7 years, and he's still only 25. That's how long it took him to settle in. playing up here when he's 18 years old. He is just outstanding now, offensively and defensively.
Geronimo with a new stance that he picked up from Manny Mota. 0-1. He says that he puts his right foot out towards first base so he can pull his body around with the swing. Takes it low again, 2-0.
That doesn't make sense. His body's already pulled around toward first base. He will change maybe by the next time he comes to bat. He used to drive Ted Kaczewski up the wall every time up a different stance.
It worked for him that time. Base hit to left field, so Geronimo is on a single. Brings up Dave Chalk. Chalk replaced Frank White, who was written in originally as the second baseman, but he's got a bad leg, so Chalk came on. Chalk had a base hit last night, hit it to right field, and they kind of shade him that way. One man out, 3-0. Kansas City's out in front.
And with Chalk up in a double play possibility, you may see a Geronimo start. A hit and run situation. He's got a good lead.
There's a strike. They're going to test Simmons' arm.
Joe, Vukovich has one of the quickest moves for a right-hander to first base of almost anybody in the American League now. He is very quick, and he can change his rhythm. He'll pitch quickly one time, he'll hold the ball, give you a couple different kinds of looks to first base.
On it.
Is he out of the box?
Nope. Foul ball, he calls it. Dave Chalk. Chalk, 5'10", 170. Born in Del Rio, Texas. Now lives in Dallas. Del Rio, that's what that station you hear all the time. I don't care where you are. Del Rio, Texas. They sell everything. Outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, I gotta believe, here it is. Manager's delight. Will he run?
Geronimo gave a pretty good decoy on the last pitch. That Gantner out of position, moving to take a throw.
I say he's going. There he goes. Pitch out down the right field line. It's going to drop. Geronimo will make it easily to third. It's first and third.
Well, if it was a pitch out, as you call it, Joe, he didn't get it far enough out of the strike zone. On the other hand, you've got to give credit to Chalk. That ball might have been off the plate by a foot, and somehow he got his bat on it to protect the runner. Protected him, and he came up with a base hit. Let's see it.
2 balls and 1 strike. He throws the bat at it. Just does get a piece of it, Tony.
Pretty good piece of hitting, because that ball was a foot and a half off the plate.
So the Kansas City Royals threaten once again. 1 out. Geronimo is on at third as we look at Buck Rogers, the Milwaukee manager. Chalk is on at first.
Signal Buck is giving to his infielders to play halfway. Got a chance for the double play. Go for it. If not, get the runner at home plate.
Tough man to double up right here. Willie Wilson grounds it back. He was the toughest in the major leagues to ground into double plays last season. He hit into a double play once every 176.2 times at bat.
Terry Poole, the National League, was exceptional. Hit into just 3 all last year. Geronimo's job off third is to go on anything. Force them to go home on him so he can keep the inning going and prevent a double play.
Foul ball. A cool afternoon here in Milwaukee. It was cold out here last night. The applause you hear is for the scoreboard. The scoreboard has not been working, and they finally got it going. There you see some of the fans all bundled up. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 3-0 Kansas City lead.
That's what Philadelphia did so well during the World Series last year. They busted Wilson on the fist when he was batting left-handed.
Picked up his bat as we look at Vukovich grip that ball. Very light bat, 31 ounces Wilson used. Full foul. In fact, he thought it was shorter. And Jim Fry and I were standing behind the cage, and I said, boy, it looks like a short bat. He said, about 34. I said, I don't think so. And we measured it against George Brett's, and sure enough, it was 34. And the one who wouldn't believe it was Willie Wilson himself.
What does he want to use, 35?
No, he wants to use 32. Short right field. We may have a play at the plate. He's got a good arm. Here comes the throw. Geronimo's going to... Oh, he's going to hold it up.
see why Gorman Thomas is so popular in this town. Made a great shoestring catch earlier. Makes a great throw. He was unhappy moving from center field to right field. He said, but I'll play where Buck Rogers, the MGR, wants me to. That man will run through walls for you. He's a man where the president of this ball club, Bud Selig, said he would never make the team because he struck out too much. Your old pal, Trader Lane, made a bet with Bud Selig, said he'll be back and he'll hit a lot of home runs. Just have patience, let him strike out. He'll drive in a lot of runs for you.
He has done that all right. As we look at UL Washington, who bounced out, robbed of extra bases on a great play by Money in the first inning. Ball one. Ball game started when Wilson single to center field. UL Washington robbed of the base hit. Wilson took second. McRae flied to right. Brett drove in Wilson, and Willie Aikens hit a home run. So it's 3-0. 2 balls and no strikes to count. We're in the top of the second.
Say, if not for the outstanding plays by Money and Gorman Thomas in that first inning, that Kansas City rally might have had 6 or 7 runs up on the board. Allowed Vukovich to stay in this game.
High hopper. Yount steps on the bag. The force is on. And so that ends the top half of the second inning. We go to the bottom half of the second. The score, Kansas City 3 and Milwaukee nothing.
Chic Super 2 announces
Macho Shave is Super 2 for the Macho Shave.
Don't just get close. Get macho close with the new Super 2. Each twin blade home to the ultimate sharp for shaves so close they're
Macho close.
Fits Atra and Track 2 razors.
Macho Shave.
Get macho close with
New Super 2.
Wherever you live, whatever you need to trim, Homelight string trimmers give you that finishing touch. Because after Homelight gives you quality, Homelight gives you a choice with lightweight electrics and powerful gasoline trimmers, all with automatic string advance. We've got trimmers that turn into blowers and trimmers that become brush cutters. There's even a trimmer you can operate with one hand. So whatever you need to trim, wherever you need to trim it, get a Homelight string trimmer for the finishing touch.
Now there's a place where they have their own authorized mechanics, quality parts and service, and prices you can afford. Now there's K-Care, found only at Kmart. Here, skilled mechanics trained at our own automotive training center know about improving performance, safer stops, smoother ride, all important aspects of your car.
Get K-Care for top-notch parts and service at a Kmart price. Car troubles? Try K-Care, only at Kmart.
Arnold Palmer, Sammy Snead, Don January lead the greatest names in golfing history in the Legends of Golf later today on NBC.
There's the score.
NBC.
There's the score, 3-0 Kansas City leading Milwaukee. As we look at the coaches,
Harry Warner at third. These are the Toronto organization. Ron Hansen at first base. He's going to be part of one of our quizzes today.
Okay. Part of one of our quizzes. This is Larry Heisel. First pitch is high and it's ball one. Heisel, a designated hitter. Foul ball.
Heisel, the man who been battling what is generally considered a pitcher's injury. He had a torn rotator cuff in that right shoulder. Finally had surgery. See, he has a big following in this ballpark, and they play him on warm days, and this is considered warm compared to Toronto and last night out here in Milwaukee County Stadium.
Compared to Anchorage, Alaska, it's warm. It is cold. It's 40 degrees. You hit the ball off the end of the bat, and you got to feel you just stuck your hand in a beehive, and you know how that feels, Tony.
Oh.
1 ball and 1 strike on Larry Heisel. George Brett, the long throw. It's a good one. Heisel is out.
Larry Gura will have you off stride all day long. Just pull the string and Heisel out in front. Then he'll bust a fastball and hit you on the fists. Guess if you're a player, former player, you'd say about a guy like Gura, he knows how to pitch.
One out. Gura. Against Ogilvie. Outside, ball one. Ogilvie, 6'2", 170. Lives in Mesa, Arizona. Born in Panama. Hit 304 last year. 118 RBIs, 41 home runs. Hit a tremendous home run last night. There's the strike. 1-1 to count. Kansas City out in front, 3-0. We're in the bottom of the second.
There's a time in Ogilvie's career, Red Sox, Tigers, where he was platoon. Not anymore.
Outside. Didn't get it. Good breaking curveball.
Gura has been showing these Brewers hitters the fastball and then doing this to them, pulling the string on either that slider or the curveball. You can see how far out in front Ogilvie was.
That's it. That's first strikeout for Larry Gura, and here is Ted Simmons.
Like an operation right there with that pitch. He showed him the fastball, changed speeds on a breaking ball, hard slider low and away. Ooh.
Simmons, who came over from the Cardinals in that big deal. Next week, we'll be watching those Cardinals. Under Whitey Herzog, general manager and manager, they're referring to them as the Whitey Birds. Simmons had a home run last night. He's got 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. He's hitting 189 right now. Takes it inside. He came along with pitcher Raleigh Fingers and Pete Vukovich for Sixto Lescano, David Green, Larry Sorensen, and Dave LaPointe. There's the strike.
Cardinals off to a pretty good start under Herzog. 7-2, just behind Montreal.
Two balls and a strike. Simmons has hit 300 or better 6 of the last 10 seasons. He knows what to do with the bat. A tough hitter. Fouls it back. A switch hitter. Last year he hit 303. Just running back some of the years he's had. 303, 283, 287, 318, 291, 332, 272, 310, 303, 304.
And he'll be right in the 90, 100 RBI range before the season's over. It'll give you a tip how strong this team is. Here's a man that's just under 298 lifetime. Good RBI man. Might hit you 20 home runs. Batting 6th in the lineup.
Last 4 seasons he's hit over 20 home runs. Ted Simmons, Simba. Used to wear his hair very long. Hot smash. Brett, nice play. They get him. So once again, 3 up and 3 down for Milwaukee at the end of 2 complete innings to score here. Kansas City 3 and Milwaukee nothing. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Sunday on Chips.
Richard Sonny Madsen is known as the best getaway driver there is.
A speed demon is on the loose, and Ponch and John must shut him down on NBC.
At my age, some people think I should stay off the highway and stay on the fairway. But not Colonial Penn. They've specialized in car insurance for people 50 and over for years. And because I qualify, Colonial Penn will never drop me for having an accident or making a claim, guaranteed. Will your insurance company do that?
Colonial Penn, the insurance specialist for people 50 and over.
Get ready, Chicagoland, for one of the most value-packed sales in our history. 300 1981 Buicks, Regals, Skylarks, Centuries, all on sale right now at only one place in Chicago, Bauer Buick and Harvey. Look at this typical value. 20 air-conditioned Century sedans on sale for a low $77.77. Not 10, not 9,000, but just $77.77. Don't wait. Come in tomorrow. 300 Buicks on sale now only at Bauer Buick and Harvey.
Before Scott's blends family grass seed, all the seed has to pass inspection.
Here's my sample.
sir.
We reject tons because of weeds or empty seeds. We only want plump, vigorous seed that grows beautiful lawns because we have to pass the toughest inspection. Yours. Family seed from Scott's for a lawn that satisfies the toughest customers.
I'm Warner Saunders. Chicago is neighborhoods, and we cover Chicago.
Outside to Hal McRae, was robbed of a base hit on a great play by Gorman Thomas in right field his first time up. McRae, 5'11", 180, born in Avon Park, Florida, now lives in Brighton. Foul ball.
Vukovic is really struggling with his control. Ordinarily, he's around the strike zone, and he's not that overpowering that he can make mistakes. Give you an example. They play McRae to hit the right field, which would indicate they may try and pitch him outside, and he's allowing them to pull the ball. The same thing happened with Molitor, so he can't find the strike zone at this part. Yeah.
Foul ball. Nice play by the ball boy. Missed it.
You know who that is, that ball boy down there?
No.
That's Steve Fremming. Bruce Fremming, the umpire. Steve, you got to get in the ball game. Bruce Fremming, the National League umpires in Philadelphia. Steve, the ball got in the sun. We'll protect you. Your dad's watching.
Got in the sun?
Got in the sun. Look at that.
Where's the sun?
Bad win. Steve Fremming.
Foul tip. McRae last year led all DHs in batting average with 293, at bats with 450, hits 145, had the most doubles 35, and the most RBIs 75. Outside. He's a long way from that plate. Tough to pitch to.
I think something that doesn't show up that I'm sure he led it is taking out second basemen and shortstops on double plays and keeping the rallies going.
Out on strikes this time, and that's the first strikeout for Vukovic. And here is George Brett. This telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. And any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. What a year, huh? 664 slugging. He doesn't seem to be concerned about this slow start, and he has all the confidence, and he still plays with the great enthusiasm. George Brett. Gantner in time. 2 up and 2 down.
People forget about Brett, Joe, that after a relatively slow start last year, he went, what, almost 3 months after he came off a couple of injuries, hitting about 450. 3 consecutive months. Stayed in the groove.
Rounded it off for 390. And they tease him about he probably did the most for higher education than any man in the history of the game. He taught the world how to spell hemorrhoids with 1 M. What a gigantic step for public education that was. I always thought there were 2 M's. Willie Aikens takes a lot of time to get in there. He enjoys hitting. And he enjoys swinging.
I think part of that is Brett did it also, trying to slow Vukovic down. He likes to pitch fast. They're trying to get him to slow down so they can get their thoughts straight.
One ball, 1 strike. Has come a long way as a ball player, but he's come a long way as a person. He's really letting people get to know him. He's had a speech impediment, but I tell you, he's just as friendly, and he comes right out of it. And out on strikes. Vukovic rearing back and firing, gets his second strikeout. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. It's Kansas City 3 and Milwaukee nothing.
before 9 a.m. than most people do all day.
Hey, First Sergeant. Good morning.
You're at the wheel of America's most popular sports car, Mustang.
Gonna drive some hot stuff, baby, this evening. Gonna drive my Mustang, baby, tonight.
Mustang. Engineered for seat-of-the-pants response with rack and pinion steering. Mustang, a car that bites when cornered. Precision tuned. Mustang turns high mileage into Mustang, from the world of better ideas at Ford.
New Colony Classic Chablis is incredibly smooth. So smooth, we even challenged Almaden to an independent taste test. Colony Classic Chablis versus the normally more expensive Almaden Mountain Chablis. The result? 61% preferred the taste of new Colony Classic. Compare Colony Classic yourself. Discover why the new taste of Colony has made the road to success so very, very smooth.
Gorman Thomas up to hit. His wife Debbie with 3-month-old Kelly, and they just want to let Grandma and Grandpa Thomas in South Carolina know that the baby's all right. That's some things people don't realize about ball players, Joe. Grandparents have not seen that baby yet. They do now. Keeping warm.
Well, Grandpa and Grandma, I know the feeling. Our little Katie, Steve's little girl, what a thrill that was to have a first grandchild. And they never got to see him because the baby was under the blanket there. It's trying to stay warm. But we're thinking about Grandpa and Grandma Thomas. Gorman Thomas is up there. Very popular player, as Tony pointed out. 2 balls and no strikes. He's a big guy, 6'3", 200 pounds. There you see Debbie. Live in Greenfield, Wisconsin now. Born in Charleston, South Carolina. Foul ball out of play. He's known for his bat, but I'll tell you, defensively, he'll give you some good plays. He gave us a thrill here in the first inning. Watch this catch.
Hal McRae, sinking line drive, slicing away. Wasn't too long after that, he made an outstanding throw to home in the second inning to prevent a runner scoring from third.
I'll tell you, as a high school athlete, he had 14 letters in baseball, basketball, football, and track at James Island High School in Charleston. Well hit. He really got a hold of it, but the wind blowing hard. Let's see what happens. A home run.
Whoa. Bernie Brewer.
His third home run of the year, and with the wind blowing a crosswind, he really had to tag that one to get it out of here.
Looked like an off-speed pitch, and he had to supply his own power. He just crushed it. Mama likes it. Debbie's happy. Gorman's wife. Kelly's sound asleep.
On money. Right back to Gura. He's got it. Money is out.
He's led this league in home runs.
Here is Jim Gantner, hitting at 207 in this early part of the season. Last night, he was the defensive genius at second base. Brett has moved in, protecting against a possible bunt for the base hit. Right center field, Wilson. Geronimo takes it. Well hit. So there are 2 away, 1 run in. It's a 3-1 ball game with Kansas City out in front. Here is Paul Molitor. And Sal Bando, who gave our lineups, I think said it all with one word: the igniter. Molitor, 6 feet even, 175. Born in St. Paul, Minnesota. Now makes his home right here in Wisconsin.
Pretty good college baseball coach, the late Dick Siebert, former major leaguer at the University of Minnesota.
Washington has it in time. So after Thomas's home run, Brewers go down in order. At the end of 3 complete innings of score here, Kansas City 3 and Milwaukee 1.
How do you grow a great cigar? Master planter Ralph Merrill knows. Plant special Dutch Masters tobacco seedlings in a fertile valley. Control the searing sun with clouds of special cloth. And wait. Now select only the best leaves and harvest them all by hand. That's how Ralph Merrill grows a great cigar. Like the Dutch Masters president. There really are masters at Dutch Masters.
You know, one of the best things about coming to America was that I got to try American beers, and I tried them all. The one I like best, light beer from Miller. It's got a third less calories than the regular beer. It's less filling, and it really tastes great. That's why I tell my friends from Mexico, when you come to America, drink light beer, but don't drink the water.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
The Giants call the Giant. Purolator Courier.
3M. Goodyear.
Of the Fortune 500 companies, 487 call Purolator Courier the giant of the overnight package delivery business. 28 million overnight package deliveries a year to over 20,000 locations.
Polaroid. Black & Decker.
But you don't have to be a giant to call the giant. You just have to have a phone. Purolator Courier, the giant of the overnight package delivery business.
Hi, I'm Jack Elliott. Join me in the New American Orchestra as we celebrate 100 years of America's popular music. Live from Studio 8H, Monday on NBC.
Amos Otis leads it off, takes the first pitch for strike one. Last night, Milwaukee beat Kansas City 6-1. Ogilvy and Simmons hit home runs, 3-run homers. The 4th win in a row for the Brewers. Worst start for Kansas City in a 13-year history. Low 1-1. Yankees 4, Toronto 2. Gossage 4th save of the season. Tommy John was the winner. Greg Nettles hit his 4th home run. Oakland 6 and Seattle 2. Oakland now 15-1. Norris winning pitcher 4-0. 3rd complete game. The A's staff now has 13 complete games as the pitch misses. Chicago 3, Detroit 2. Luzinski a leadoff home run in the 10th inning. Minnesota 7, California 5, Texas, Cleveland, Boston, Baltimore not scheduled. Texas-Cleveland game postponed rain. So that does it for last night. National League, Cincinnati beat Houston 3-0. Frank Pastoria 4-hitter. San Diego 6, LA 5. Padres 3 runs in the 9th. Offset Garvey's big night of 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Atlanta 7, San Francisco 1. 5th straight win for the Braves. Giants 4 straight loss. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Otis. Philadelphia 6, Chicago 4. Mike Schmidt hit his 31st home run in Wrigley Field. Carlton in his 3rd game without a loss. He struck out 5 and gives him a career total of 2,997. New York, Montreal postponed. St. Louis, Pittsburgh postponed. Fouled off. And remember, following our game, the Legends of Golf. That is some event. And after 36 holes, Thompson and Nagel are leading at 12 under, 11 under, Littler and Rosberg, 10 under, Arnold Palmer and Dow Finsterwall. Tommy Bolt is at 10 under, Art Wall, Mike Suchak, Charlie Sifford at 10 under. Nice play by Gantner to throw, not in time. And you know, talking about the Legends of Golf, if you've not watched it, do yourself a favor. Not only will you see these great names that have done so much for golf, but Gene Sarazen, not only a great golfer, such a nice man, he announced that after this competition, he will no longer be playing golf competitively. So if you want to see a legend, Gene Sarazen will be on display with the Legends of Golf following our game and, of course, tomorrow. Here's Watson.
And A.O. down at first base. He had an injury last year, so didn't steal as frequently. But Otis a real stolen base threat. Wathan can really make contact and shoot to right field, hit that hole between second and first. Otis may be starting.
2 balls and no strikes on John Wathan. Wathan bounced out short to first. There you see Otis.
How about that for a stolen base percentage of success?
Hit his bat. 2 balls and a strike. You know, Otis, known for his bat and known for his speed, he's been moved to left field. He kind of complained about it all winter, but I noticed, Tony, that moving from center field to left field during batting practice, he's out there taking one fungo after another. He's really been working hard out there. That foul once again.
Well, he knew it was coming. In fact, Whitey Herzog, when he was the manager, told him a couple of years ago that the day would come, A.O., when with Willie Wilson, who could be the best center fielder in the game, he's going to move there and you're going to have to move out. You can't waste Willie Wilson's great speed in left field.
Last night before the game, Martinez was hitting line drives to left field. For the game again today, Otis was out there.
Oh,
he got him picked off. Here's a throw. Got him. He almost made it. Otis thinks he did. But Mike Riley says no. It went 1-3-4. Gantner made the tag.
After A.O. started and Vukovic had him picked off, A.O. hesitated for one step, or he may have made it. Vukovic right there, sets it, just makes a good throw. Cooper knows he's got him, sets up inside, throws to Gantner. I'll tell you, that was very close. This
Boy,
is a
I'd like to see
three
it.
umpire crew, but it looked like Otis. There's the hesitation that cost him the play right there, Otis.
Whoa, where did he tag him? Where did he tag him? I'd like to see that again.
That's what makes it so tough for a 3-umpire crew. The first base umpire had to hustle from first base, try and help out on the call.
Center field. Wathan is out as Molitor hauls it in. I tell you, boy, that was a close play. If he doesn't hesitate, like you pointed out, Tony.
If he got him, he only got him on the shirt. Barely caught a part of him.
He got him by the thread.
Young Ken Phelps, rookie sitting there. I'm sure he's enjoying watching Major League Baseball, although he'd like to be playing. His Kansas City bench, I believe, is a little stronger this year with Lee May and Geronimo, some of the others.
Ball one, Geronimo. Geronimo singled to left field his first time up. We've got a 3-1 score here. Kansas City's out in front. 1 ball and 1 strike to count on Cesar Geronimo. There's the pitching chart.
It's Randy Lurch, who is pitching in tomorrow's ball game. His first American League start. Lurch over from the Phillies. He was involved in some turmoil there regarding the possibility of a drug scandal, etc.
Foul tip. This is a perfect spot to throw that fastball right across the letters. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. 3-1 is the score. Kansas City's out in front. Jim Fry looking on. You look at Jim Fry and you can't help but believe him when he says he always needs a pass to get into the ballpark. Nobody believes he's a manager. He said, I look like an accountant. Center field, Molitor is there. So, no scoring for Kansas City in the top of the 4th. We go to the bottom half of the 4th. Score, Kansas City 3 and Milwaukee 1.
This might not seem like the most romantic place to celebrate your anniversary, but this is where it all began for Midas 25 years ago. And we're going to make a big deal out of it. We're taking 25% off the price of our muffins. That's right, 25% off every American car muffin. Now, just be sure you come in by April 30th, because at 25% off, you won't want to blow it.
We wanna make you smile.
Welcome back. I see you brought a friend.
My boss hasn't smiled the whole trip. I'm back.
I think you'll like our beds.
Big room.
Everything all right?
Just fine. Call me for dinner.
In an hour.
We made him smile.
Come to Holiday Inn where your style sits. We're #1 people pleasing.
Wet, sticky roll-on antiperspirants. They hold you up when you want to get dressed. Get on the stick. Speed Stick solid deodorant from Menon gives you dry, effective protection against perspiration odor. Look, roll-ons go on wet. That's why they stick to your shirt. But Speed Stick is solid deodorant, effective protection against odor, so dry that Speed Stick never sticks. And Speed Stick is so much wider than the other leading stick.
Takes just a few strokes.
So get on the wide stick. Speed Stick deodorant by Menon.
Get down home to North Carolina. Capture all the explosive action and blazing speeds of the Charlotte 300. Then, the sensational Bart Connor competes in the International Gymnastics Classic. Plus, join Minnesota Fats for the Pro Trick Shot Invitational tomorrow.
Harvey Keene, born and raised West Dallas, Wisconsin, a little suburb of Milwaukee, lifetime .303 hitter. That's quite a story, aside from all his baseball achievements.
Harvey Keene, a leg amputation. Back out here, he's hitting the golf ball, helping the hitters here. Robin Young takes it high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Keene's the man who Ron LaFleur gives a lot of credit to, and Harvey managed in Puerto Rico, coaching him, making him a major league hitter.
Young bounced out his first time, up third to first, and pulls a foul.
It's like to have a #2 hitter like Yount, who had 82 extra base hits last year, and such a great slugging percentage.
He led the major leagues with those 82 extra base hits. And 49 doubles led the league.
He's one of the youngest players in baseball history to get 1,000 base hits.
Go inside. Robin Young turns 26 on September 16th. 6-footer, 170 pounds. Born in Danville, Illinois, lives in Thousand Oaks, California. Base hit. So Yount is on, brings up Cecil Cooper, and listen to him go coop, coop. Detroit, a rain delay. Baumgarten against Rozema. Texas 3, Cleveland batting bottom of the first. Honeycutt against Garland. Toronto 2, New York batting bottom of the first. Outside, ball 1. Mayberry a home run. That's Todd against Rudy May. Oakland at Seattle. Langford against Parrott. Night games, scheduled pitchers. And the Montreal Expos lead the Mets 2-0 at the end of 2. Jones against Rogers. He made that play. Young Fleming caught that one. Cincinnati 2 and Houston batting in the bottom of the third, 0. Ryan against Berenier.
Good play by Steve Fleming. That's what they call a redeemer after he missed that first one.
Jim Rice a home run for the Red Sox in the 4th, and they lead Baltimore 1-0 with Baltimore batting in the bottom of the 4th. Tanana against Flanagan. Outside. If you would run a tape of Rod Carew batting and then put Cecil Cooper's stride and his actions right next to it, I think they would look identical.
He went into more of a crouch the last couple of years and laid his bat back. So more parallel with the ground.
Down the left field line. Everybody giving it a chase and into the stands. Nobody can. George Brett flips it in, which he bounces out. You know, Cecil Cooper last year, what a year he had. You look at a happy youngster. In spring training, look at those statistics. And in spring training, I read a story. He said he was fooling with glasses. He's wearing contacts because he said he sees the ball better with glasses, but since he hit 352, he wasn't too sure he wanted to wear them. It would almost be unfair to put glasses on him if you hit 352. 367 with men on base. Someday he's going to lead the league. He's got a good stroke off the bat.
Well, the two guys you'll have to contend with are George Brett and Rod Carew, who have won their share of titles. Brett has won 2. Carew's won a bundle.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out. Robin Young on first. Cooper the batter. Left center field. Wilson is there. Boy, you can see why he has to play center field. He can cover an airport, that guy.
What a difference it makes to a left fielder and right fielder, because they can guard the lines against the double, because you know that Willie's going to cut off any triples and doubles in the alleys with that great speed.
Keep in mind, he was the 4th slowest guy in the old neighborhood, Willie Wilson.
Didn't even anchor the relay team, huh?
No, couldn't make it. Larry Heisel. Heisel bounced out his first time up. Field line foul. You talk about a toothpick factory. There's 3 pieces hanging around. Gura's picking up one. Bad Boy's got the other one, and Heisel's headed back to the bench. And on a day like today, that really stings.
Gura throws what looks like a little bit of a screwball and hits Larry Heisel on the end of the bat. You can see it fade away. A perfect pitch that only a good hitter like Heisel would even get his bat on. Right down low on the outside corner.
One strike to count. Kansas City out in front, 3-1. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Larry Heisel, who spent most of the year on a disabled list, although he did have 6 home runs and 16 RBIs where he went. 1 strike. Outside.
Now, even though they're behind by 2 runs, the Brewers, Harry Warner flashing a lot of signs at third to Heisel in the out. It's that pitcher's pitch, even though they're behind. Instead of a double play. I think he is. He stole 20 bases last year.
I say no.
Gura's going to try it, maybe throw over to see if he can pick something up. No. Double play.
Double play ball. Juggled it. May have lost it. There's one. He did lose it. A double play ball that UL Washington lost when that big mitt just couldn't get that ball out of the glove.
He was kind of fortunate that that ball did not scoot underneath his glove, because he almost came up too soon. Jimmy Fry's been raving about UL Washington. They talked about him coming along at short last year. Said he is so much more confident after getting a full season under his belt. Watch him come up. Almost came up too soon, Joe. The ball right on the fingertips of that big glove. And boy, bobbling that ball, he really set up chalk for the hard sliding Yount.
So Heisel is on. There are 2 away. And here is Ben Ogilvie, who was out on strikes his first time up. Strike 1. This young fellow doesn't get cheated from any swings. That bat of his, almost like Lee May, who's over on the Kansas City side, constantly moving. It's a strike. 2 quick strikes. Larry Gura. It's the outside corner. Two men out. 3-1 Kansas City leading, bottom of the 4th. Off the end of the bat, foul. Ogilvie hit a home run every 14.4 times at bat last season, which is the 2nd best ratio in the American League. Reggie Jackson was the best. Home run every 12.5. There you see the stats.
Throwing 3 straight breaking ball. Let's see if he tries to sneak a fastball by him. Setting up outside. No.
I bet he'll show him the fastball. I doubt if he'll let him hit it. There was a fastball outside.
He's been away 4 times. But Ogilvie, I have a hunch, is one of those guys where you can throw him 20 straight breaking balls, and he is still up there looking for #1 fastball.
He struck him out the last time on a big, wide breaking curveball.
Full foul.
Count remains at 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Kansas City 3, Milwaukee 1. We're in the bottom of the 4th.
Looked like a change signal. A little wiggle.
Fastball. 2-2. Here's his pitch of decision right here. He doesn't want to run it to 3-2. He wants to make it happen right here. Larry Gura. Got him. Second strikeout. Ogilvie both times. That completes 4 innings of baseball here. The score, Kansas City 3 and Milwaukee 1. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Trapped with a plague carrier on a speeding train headed for a bridge they know will collapse.
Yeah, we're going to die.
Sophia Loren and Richard Harris in the Cassandra Crossing, Sunday on NBC.
He moved like the wind through the forest of the West. As a warrior, he was terrifying. The Wind Walker. Now showing at a theater near you.
No man stands so tall as when he stoops to help a child. For over 50 years, Variety Clubs, the show business organization, has helped needy and handicapped children all over the world. They need your help in their work with handicapped children. Support Variety Club of Illinois Children's Charities.
Give that man
Jet, dinner. Well, it's about time.
When the real taste of beer is everything you thirst for. The original Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer.
Getting Clipped, Monday at 10 on Channel 5.
We're in the 5th inning here in County Stadium, Milwaukee. The Royals leading 3-1.
Great day for baseball in Milwaukee.
Hey, this is a pleasant day. A little bit brisk off Lake Michigan.
brisk.
A little bit of a wind.
Yeah.
Listen, they played 3 games in Toronto and last night where it was much colder.
I know, they had 2 guys frozen to the foul pole.
Dave Chalk. Willie Wilson, UL Washington, facing Pete Vukovic. Up in Canada, they call those hats toques. You were wearing one of those last night. Short left field, Ogilvie. 1 out. Willie Wilson, who led off this game with a single and then scored. We talked about him moving to center field. We'll show you a catch from last year when he was a left fielder against the Detroit Tigers. Dan Quisenberry, the pitcher on the mound. Sliced, sinking Willie Wilson over to the bullpen for the Tigers with an outstanding play in foul territory. Give you an idea of his speed. Here he is at the plate with 1 out. Pete Vukovic gave up 3 runs to the Royals in the first. A 2-run home run by Akins. George Brett, an RBI single, his first RBI of the season. The only run for the Brewers, Gorman Thomas. A tremendous home run to center field in the 3rd with nobody on. Wilson with 230 base hits last year. Fouls this one off.
How'd you like that one stat? 705 times at bat. Look at that. That's a lot of times at bat.
It's a new major league record for at bats in the season. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 1 out. Chopper. Vukovic is going to have to hurry. Simmons out. Here comes the throw. No chance. Simmons popped out from behind home plate as quickly as anybody could, and Wilson just showed you speed.
He got out of the box in good shape. And just that phenomenal speed. Now Simmons handles that ball cleanly, and he got something on the throw. Hard as he could throw it, but Wilson's across. once described, I think Reggie Jackson said it and said it best, talking about Wilson. He said when one of his pitchers walked him, he said, "You're looking at a standing double." He gets on, that's about it. Gets on first, he's off and running, steals second, and it's like a double.
Well, he stole 79 last year. Ricky Henderson, of course, of Oakland, stole 100. UL Washington. 1 ball, no strikes.
You can see what happens when a Wilson gets on. Vukovich gave him 2 head fakes and in the process crossed up Simmons, and luckily he knocked the ball down. It'll be Simmons' arm against Willie Wilson, but I don't think that's a good match. I'd have to bet on Wilson.
Well, the key obviously is Pete Vukovich. He does have a good move, but unless he unloads in a hurry, there's Jimmy Fry. He has already flashed the signs to Gordon McKenzie, to Willie Wilson. Not going. But you can see even with when he's not stealing, Wilson has gotten a 2-ball, no-strike count for UL Washington.
Better look for him to go right here.
Three balls, no strikes on UL Washington. So Vukovich has destroyed the concentration of Pete Vukovich. Pete is worried more about Wilson. There's Buck Rogers, the Brewers manager. 3 balls, 1 strike. Look out now. Willie Wilson may be off and running with 1 out. Kansas City 3, Milwaukee 1. Kansas City with 7 hits, Milwaukee 2. We're in the 5th. Three balls, 1 strike. Wilson's not going. Ball 4. So now 2 men with speed on the bases, Wilson and UL Washington. And the hitter will be Hal McRae, who was robbed of a base hit by Gorman Thomas in right. And then was Vukovich's first strikeout in the 3rd. First base on balls by Pete Vukovich, and although UL Washington will be given the walk, Willie Wilson had something to do with it. 3-1, Kansas City over Milwaukee. Vukovich facing McRae with 2 men on. Look out for Wilson now. He can steal 3rd also with Washington at first. Vukovich knows it. And in this situation, a double play situation, Gantner and Yount have both moved closer, especially Gantner to second base. Chop foul, and that speed off second base comes into play once again, Joe, because Gantner now has got to jockey back and forth and hold Wilson. That means he's given up ground on any ground ball hit in his area.
Mr. Rick used to always say no substitute for speed. He was talking about speed on bases, speed in the outfield, speed on the pitcher's mound. It's one of the great erasers. Misjudge a fly ball, you can still outrun it.
Wilson with a nice lead off second. 1 strike to McRae. 1-1. And you know, that's something that is really a constant. A guy's battle run hot and cold. A pitcher's rhythm may go off. You can have a feeling slump, but you got that speed day in and day out on the bases, in the field. Triggers a lot of rallies and shuts off a lot of rallies. 1-1. Check swing, snap throw by Simmons. Washington back. A count play between Cooper, first baseman, and Simmons, the catcher. Count now goes 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Baltimore 3, Boston 1, bottom of the 4th, and Cincinnati 2-0 over Houston, top of the 4th. Those Astros really having some problems.
UL Washington at first. There's Simmons. Knows both men have speed, but I'm sure he is emphasizing to Vukovich on a 1 ball, 2 strike count. Keep your attention focused on McRae, the hitter. He can hurt you most. Behind McRae, of course, George Brett on deck. Good breaking pitch gets McRae. Second time today that McRae has gone down. Now it'll be Brett. Single RBI, run scored, and a ground out. See the umpires shifting with this 3-man crew with Larry Barnett out with a pull muscle. It would be a questionable baseball play right now with Brett up to have Wilson steal, especially left-handed hitter. I would doubt that he would try and steal.
I think it'd be a dumb play. You wouldn't want to take the bat out of George Brett's hand.
Last year, Brett had one of his biggest days. He was 5 for 5 against Milwaukee. That's when his average was at its highest, 407 last season. Good sinker by Vukovic. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs.
That same night that he was 5 for 5, Cecil Cooper was 3 for 5.
One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Kansas City with Wilson at second, UL Washington at first. They lead 3-1. We're in the 5th. Brett facing Vukovic. Look out. Got him right on the knee. It's a slider, Joe, that he really tried to throw extra hard down and in, or a fastball that a cut fastball may have sailed in. He got George pretty good.
George won't rub it. There you see the concentration, and now you see the pain.
He's not even going to have the trainer out at this point to come and spray it. It has become a cliche, but you can say it of Brett. He is from the old school. When last year during the World Series on that foul ball that he dove into the stands trying to get a foul ball, risking injury, shows you what kind of player he is. Now Buck Rogers is out.
Tell you, Tony, here comes Mickey out there now to talk to George Brett. But the tip-off, I think, on Brett is whether he's an old Oriole or not was when he was knocked down, that great knockdown pitch, his reaction. He just considered it part of baseball.
With the bases loaded, Rogers ends the conference on the mound. Mickey Cobb is going to leave the field after checking in with George Brett. Cobb, the trainer for the Kansas City Royals. Rogers last year, the manager of the Brewers, filled in for Bamberger, took over the team late in the year.
Reggie Cleveland in the bullpen, loosening up. Akins against Vukovic. Really tagged one his first time up.
2-run home run. Bases loaded. 1 strike on Willie Akins. Hits the ball hard straight away. Pull the string, chop. I believe it hit him in the foot, and it's a foul ball. The call has not yet been made. The home plate umpire didn't make it. Now Jose Martinez, the first base coach, is arguing they're going to check the ball for shoe polish. Mike Riley.
Shades of Nippy Jones in the World Series right here. They're going to show it. Gil Hodges, you remember the shoe polish?
And 57 World Series. Nippy Jones, and then Hodges did it again with the Mets. First base umpire Nick Bremigan says there is a trace of polish. Now Rogers is going to come out and say, wait a second, show me the ball. He's at right around the home plate area. So Rogers is saying, wait a second, shoe polish, that's chewing tobacco. Harry Warner checking the ball over. Lou DeMuro, the home plate umpire. Bremigan, the first base umpire.
Well, I tell you,
that was some World Series. It kept the rally going. The Nippy Jones thing in the '57 World Series.
I think Augie Donatelli was the plate umpire.
The series that Lou Burdette beat the Yankees 3 games. So the shoe polish resets the stage, and Akins will have another shot with 1 strike on him with the bases loaded. Rogers won't quit. Joe, that ball, in my mind, before he looked at the shoe polish, looking at it from up here, appeared to have hit Akins on the right foot.
He never did leave.
In fact, it was hit pretty hard. A slider down and in that hit the right foot, and then it slowed the speed of it up. Neither umpire, DeMuro, the home plate umpire, nor Bremigan, the first base umpire, called it until they check to see the shoe polish on it.
Rogers wants the ball, and he wants to send it in, and DeMuro will not give it to him. I'm sure he's going to make a big case out of it, and DeMuro will not give him the ball. So there you see 2 grown men saying, I want that ball. You're not going to get it.
Show me the shoe polish. Well, I don't understand why, if that's what he wants, Joe, as you said, why don't they show him the ball and say, hey, here it is. Black and white, or black on white, there's shoe polish on the ball.
They did show it to him, but he's not satisfied.
The only thing about it is so many of these shoes these days are made of a synthetic, a plastic. They don't polish them anymore. They wipe, so there isn't any shoe polish.
Well,
they're not all made of leather anymore.
They had some kind of proof.
So, count will go to no balls, 2 strikes. We're in the 5th inning. Willie Akins will step back in after the controversy with 3 men on base. Wilson's at third, UL Washington at second base, and Brett on first. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases loaded. Vukovich has dug his own hole in this inning. Of course, Willie Wilson with his speed set it up with a little chopper. He got him. He got Willie. Aikens looking on an 0-2 pitch. He busted a fastball inside. So Rogers a little bit happier now. So Vukovich pitches out of it. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th here in Milwaukee with a score. The Royals 3, the Brewers 1.
When I shoot a great champion like Ben Crenshaw, history can happen at any time. And that's why I stay ready all the time with my Canon AE-1. The zoom lens puts me right where the action is. So if Ben gets that one miracle shot, I get it too. Ben, you try the zoom. Sure. Even with the zoom, the Canon AE-1 is as easy as focus and click.
The incomparable Canon AE-1, so advanced, it's simple. Canon, the official photographic consultant to Major League Baseball.
You don't need a haircut, Jim. You need Brill Cream.
Brill Cream?
Sure. Your hair is short enough, but it's a mess.
It sure is.
Brill Cream's so concentrated, just a little dab keeps hair healthy looking and in control all day. Look, I'll put a little dab of Brill Cream here. Nothing here. See? Even with the hair blower, the Brill Cream side doesn't fly around. Without Brill Cream, hair flies around. Terrific.
You're right. With Brill Cream, a little dab will do you.
Now's the time. Yes, now's the time to get the jump on a real truck deal. The Ford Truck Sales Drive is on, and there's a big selection of tough Ford pickups, like the F-150 that broke the EPA gas mileage barrier for 6-cylinder pickups that carried 2,500 pounds. And there's easy deals on Ford's tough 4x4s, out-front design vans, and the tough four-wheeling Bronco. So spring into a real deal now on a tough Ford truck. Tough truck deals are in the air. Check them out now during the Ford Truck Sales Drive. Check them out now during the Ford Truck Sales Drive.
Bottom of the 5th, Kansas City out in front, 3-1. Bob Rogers talking to the umpire Demura. There's George Brett. We talked about what an old Oriole he was after he got hit by the pitch ball. I referred to that knockdown in the World Series. Remember it? That was as good a knockdown pitch as you'll ever see. And George Brett's reaction to it, everybody was screaming and carrying on. Simply said, Fry wanted to go get him. Almost a fight broke out, and Brett said it's part of the game.
Simmons takes the first pitch from Gura in the bottom of the 5th. Ball 1. 3-1. Royals lead. 1 ball, 1 strike. Simmons hitting right-handed. Last season was .320, left-handed .291. Drilled was fouled.
Tony, not to belabor George Brett's ability, but you can see he's from the old school just by the way he wears his pants and his socks. You see more blue socks on him than any of the infielders or outfielders. He's from the old school is right about at the knees.
You call him an old Oriole?
Oh, well, that's what we refer to him, not Baltimore Oriole. It's an old Oriole. There he is.
UL Washington. Scooped out by Aikens, but Simmons will be on first base. An error I'm certain will be charged to UL Washington. He had all the time in the world, and then he lost that concentration and threw a sinker over to first base.
Looks like he wasn't sure he had the ball.
Playing on dirt and grass is a little different than you could see how he waited on the ball, Joe, and then he lost his footwork, which is something you do on artificial surface. You do it on dirt, and then you've got to hurry your throw. So Gorman's up. He had a tremendous home run, the only Brewer run in the 3rd. He's got Simmons on. Facing Larry Gura. Milwaukee has just 2 base hits off Gura. One the home run, as we told you, by Thomas. The other a single by Yao.
Tell you something, you listen to Tony talk about the artificial surface and grass and dirt, and you think about the pine tar rags and everything that they do with the gloves. The modern-day baseball players made dirt obsolete.
Tell you, those gloves he's wearing have got to help. The golf gloves in a cool day like this. High and tight. Gura moves him off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Base runner, Ted Simmons, held by Akins. I really wouldn't be holding a guy like Simmons on right now. Up by 2 runs, I'd protect that hole with Thomas. The chances of him stealing are slim. You might catch that ground ball, prevent him from going through. Simmons is not going to get that much more of a jump. We'll have a chance to break up a double play. I think you've got to take that hole away a little bit more than Akins is right now. 2-1. Fastball. 3 balls, 1 strike. Gorman Thomas will look awfully bad on breaking balls once in a while, but he hits more home runs off breaking pitches than he does off fastballs, because if you throw enough breaking balls, no matter how good you are, sooner or later you will hang one, and Thomas will hit that cripple. Kansas City 3, Milwaukee 1. Way inside, I think I had the count incorrect. Now the count will go to 3 balls and 2 strikes on Thomas. No outs. Simmons at first for the Brewers. We're in the bottom of the 5th. In the infield, they play Gorman Thomas to pull. UL Washington, the shortstop, shaded slightly toward Brett in the hole. Pull foul, left field corner. For a cool afternoon, they have a nice crowd here. Probably, I guess, somewhere between 15 and 20,000. Thomas last year led the American League in strikeouts with 170. Three balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Simmons at first. Gura has mixed his pitches well. There's Ted Simmons. Gura does not throw many pitches down the center of the plate. He uses the black. A little borderline around that 17-inch wide plate. He walks him, so Kansas City has 2 men on and nobody out. Will be Don Money. First base on balls given up by Gura. Money grounded out in the 3rd. Now Jim Fry, along with George Brett, are going to come out and have a talk. Money is a good bunter. All kinds of conferences. Fry, Wathan, Brett, Gura out in the mound. Harry Warner's having a conference with his hitter Don Money, an excellent bunter. Down 2. You might see Money try and advance 2 runners, get them both in scoring position. But then you'd have a situation with Gantner, a left-hander, facing Gura, a left-handed pitcher. Money, excellent hitter with men in scoring position last season. Hit about 350 runners in scoring position.
Got to believe, Tony, that Fry was setting up his defense. You know, sometimes they have the shortstop coming over, and sometimes they'll play it straight. Brett has just relayed the information to UL Washington as Fry leaves the field.
Brett will cheat in now at 3rd base, just about even with the bag. Akins will be charging, but I'm not certain that Money's going to be bunting with a left-handed hitter up next. I think he may be hitting away. Let's see. Bunting. Curveball inside. Unusual pitch in a bunt situation. Gura wasn't sure. He threw a breaking ball. Low curveball, an easier pitch to bunt than that high riding fastball. 2 men on. Nobody out. 1 ball, no strikes on Money as we see the defensive alignment being set up by Kansas City. There's your score. Royals 3, Brewers 1 in the 5th. Brett creeping in again. See if Rogers switches. Pickoff attempt. He's out! They pick off Ted Simmons as UL Washington fake going to 3rd, and Chalk sneaked behind him.
Here it is again. Now watch. You see Simmons is in no man's land right there. And Mike Wiley, as soon as Chalk put the tag on him, there you see him.
I'll tell you, Chalk did a good job of blocking him off, and Simmons coming in head first hurt himself. He comes in cleat first. He might tear up Dave Chalk. So there's 1 out. Money goes to right. 1 ball, 1 strike. This play was set up because Brett charges, and UL Washington's going to third, and Simmons thought in all day long. It's a set play. Some teams use 5, 6 different plays in this first and second bunt situation. It worked perfectly. They decoyed Simmons. 1-1 to Money. Wow, close pitch. It was an exceptional play, set up well after the first bunt attempt.
It's one of those plays you work on in spring training, and it paid off here. It kind of takes Gore out of the hole. He's not out of it all the way, but not quite as deep in it.
Thomas at first. 2-1 count to Money. Chopper. Foul ball.
I think the thing that made it was when Brett started it, and UL Washington took his 2 quick steps. Simmons was watching, looking ahead, saw both runners moving that way, knew he was in safe territory because Chalk, the last time he saw him, was playing back a little bit, and Chalk just kind of tiptoed right through the tulips, and look what I got for you, Ted Simmons, and Ted knew he was out.
It's a play that a coach cannot help you out with. By the time he yells, look out, pickoff, it's too late. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Kansas City 3, Milwaukee 1. Thomas at first. Curveball. Money lays off somehow. Too low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, we'll see now if Buck Rogers starts Gorman Thomas on a 3-2 count. Money does not strike out too often. Two. Storm and Gorman here in Milwaukee. He's down at first base. He's not running. But he's called out on strike. 2 outs. Strikeout number 3 for Gura. He has walked 1. There's Thomas earlier in this inning. So now it'll be Jim Gantner with 2 outs. One strike. Brett will go to Aikens, so Gura on that pickoff. Very well pulled off pickoff attempt on Simmons. Pitches out of the inning as Gantner is retired. So we'll go to the 6th here in Milwaukee with the Kansas City Royals leading on the strength of Aikens' home run, 3-1 over the Brewers.
I get all kinds in here. Some like it straight, some with a twist, but they all want the best disposable razor. If they like it straight, it's Gillette's Good News Razor, the Twin Blade Classic. If they like it with a twist, it's Gillette's Swivel Razor, twin blades plus a moving head that hugs your face. Both shave better than any single blade disposable.
Good news or swivel. Gillette puts 2 great shaves at your disposal.
So what'll it be? Straight or with a twist?
It's a fine line that separates a precision writing instrument from an ordinary marker pen. This is the precision writing instrument, ultra-fine flare. And this is the fine, precise, easy-to-read line that characterizes ultra-fine flare. Ultra-fine flare turns words into writing that's remarkably easy to read, because ultra-fine flare has a precision plastic point and vivid flare ink. Ultra-fine flare to make your writing easy to read.
And all the time I've been hauling new cars, I've never seen anything like it. Quaker State's new lifetime engine lubrication protection program. Use Quaker State, and you can get protection that guarantees your new car engine against oil-related failure. The engine, as long as you own it, in writing. It's guaranteed by Quaker State. The quality motor oil. Refined from Pennsylvania-grade crude oil.
New car or old, you'll be staying on the road with Quaker State.
Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek, that is Gura in the dugout. Back in County Stadium, Milwaukee right now. We're going to pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
WMAQ-TV, Chicago.
We're going to the 6th. with Kansas City leading 3-1. Vukovic, first pitch. Otis grounds it to Yount. To Cooper, out number 1. Some scores for you. Baltimore 6, Boston 1. Rice with a home run. That's in the 6th inning. Tanana versus Flanagan. Chicago Cubs under Joey Malfitana trying to snap a 10-game losing streak with a 1-0 lead over Philadelphia. Now it's John Wathan. Chop foul, 1 strike. Wathan is grounded out and flied out. All 3 runs coming in that first inning off Vukovic. Since then, he's settled down pretty well. No balls, 2 strikes on John Wathan. Cesar Geronimo on deck. Wathan, the man who Jimmy Fry during the offseason, when they traded Porter, said was it'd take about 3 players to replace him. Outside 1 and 2. What he meant by that was Wathan was such a good swingman last year. There's Fry. Wathan played left field, right field, first base, caught, was a DH, a pinch runner, a pinch hitter. This year he would have liked to have kept him behind the plate most of the time and have his fill-in Jerry Grody, who's come out of retirement, fill in. Little chopper Gantner can't get to it, so Wathan on a 1-ball, 2-strike pitch hits a perfect pitch from Vukovic, but he goes the opposite way for a single. Pete Vukovic should get along well in his town. He has a Polish wife. He is Serbian. There's a very large Serbian population in Milwaukee. And we want to get into more ethnic stuff. You got a reunion. You're going back to St. Louis with your own Goombas.
That's right, on the hill. We're going to the hill tonight.
1 out, Geronimo off Vukovic. Line drive, almost takes the glove off Vukovic's hand, so Kansas City has 2 men on. What is this, a reunion down in your own neighborhood in St. Louis of what, high school, grade school, neighborhood?
Clubs. We used to have clubs when we were kids, and mostly to play baseball, soccer, and what have you, and going to have a reunion of the clubs. No speeches, no nothing, just see the guys.
You'll hang a couple lines on a few of your own Goombas, won't you? Too bad Yogi can't come, huh?
Yeah, miss him.
2 men on, Dave Chalk with 1 out. 3-1, Kansas City over the Brewers. 1 ball. Chalk singled in the 2nd on a hit and run, but Vukovic pitched out of it. He also flied to left. Filling in for Frank White, who has an injured leg. Good changeup. Count goes 1-1. Chalk, a very valuable utility man. He played 3rd, short, 2nd. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 2 men on for Kansas City. Should be 2 right through Robin Yount's legs. So the 4th run for Kansas City will score. Geronimo goes to 3rd base. There is still 1 out. Yount waited back on the ball. The ball stayed down, Joe.
I just wonder if he was distracted when the ball was hit, but he certainly did wait for it. There it is. The runner was a factor in that, and it looked like he may have screened him, and tailgate didn't come down. There goes the ball through his legs. Here's another look at it. It looked like a real room service double play ball hit sharply right through the wicket. No doubt about it, a major league error.
Runner off 2nd base, John Wathan just shaded him enough, blocked his view. So now the Brewers infield, they score 4-1. Runners on 1st and 3rd are forced to come in. Willie Wilson, who is 2 for 3 in the ball game. 1 ball, no strikes. Chopper, nice play by Cooper. He will come home. They're going to get Geronimo hung up. Simmons runs it back. The flip to money they've got. What a play by Cooper to save a run. Impossible big inning.
That was a tremendous play on both ends. Cooper, you would think, would have just tagged the bag. Now watch how close he is to 1st base when he makes the play. Many a first baseman would have said, well, I'm off balance, I'll just tag the bag. Simmons scoops up the low throw, and young fellas who want to learn about the rundown, look at this, perfect. One toss and they get him. One time was it handled. It was just perfect.
I think an important thing, Joe, he gets the ball in his bare hand to show it the man who's going to take the throw, and he runs him back so the guy cannot jockey back and forth. Geronimo did the proper thing on the play because he wanted to get in a double play, or wanted to prevent a double play by getting in a rundown. So the rally is still going. 3 outstanding plays by this Brewer club so far today. Kansas City might have 8 or 10 runs on the board. They've got 4. It's UL Washington now. Chop foul. Cooper, as we look down at Buck Rogers, has won a Gold Glove in each of the last 2 seasons, 79 and 80. So those kind of plays are not unusual for him. 1-1 with 2 outs. 2 men on for the Royals. Chop. Money. They go to Gatner for the force out. So Vukovic, with Cooper making an outstanding play, pitches out of it. He has really settled down, but he does allow a run. The score here as we go to the bottom of the 6th, Kansas City Royals 4, the Milwaukee Brewers 1.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer.
Building inspector.
Hey, what are you guys doing here?
I didn't believe you two could build your own house.
Yeah, well, don't look. It's not finished.
Well, I guess we'll just take our low and brown go home.
Well, maybe one quick look around.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be low and brown.
Then what are you going to do when you finish this place?
Just what I'm doing right now.
There's a company in Toledo, Ohio, who makes an amazing product for your car's engine. It can help improve your car's mileage, give you surer starts, even help your car run better. And the cost of a set is about the same as the price of an oil change. A revolutionary new device? No, it's a fresh Champion spark plug. There is probably nothing that can do so much for your car's engine for so little. Champion, the world's #1 seller.
You know people like us, we're teachers, firemen, people just like you. These are the uniforms we wear at work. But these are the uniforms we wear when we serve part-time in the reserves and the National Guard. You see, in the reserves and the Guard, you not only serve your country, you're part of a first-rate team, training alongside real buddies. Yet while you serve, you can live at home and keep your full-time job. Because in the reserves and the Guard, you don't have to give up one life to live another.
The reserves and the National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter.
Tomorrow on NBC Sports World. Oh, I love this promo. Hub-to-hub racing action in the Charlotte 300. Stock car heroes will all be there at the wheel. Dave Pearson, Darrell Waltrip, and world champion Bart Conner leads the field in the International Gymnastics Classic. Plus, the legendary Rudolph Wanderoni. You know him as Minnesota Fats. Pro Trick Shot Invitational. All tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern Daylight Time on NBC's Sports World. Paul Molitor, Robin Yount, Cecil Cooper. The Brewers trail by 3. Larry Gura. 1 ball to Molitor. He is 0 for 2 in the ball game. Molitor converted to center field. A lot of work done by Sam Simplizio, a former Yankee outfielder in spring training here this week. Sam Simplizio's got a lot to do with that National Junior World Series coming up in about a month.
Grand Junction.
Grand Junction, Colorado. Welcome to Milwaukee's County Stadium. To those of you who've been watching the Baltimore-Boston game, right here it is Royals 4, Brewers 1. Willie Aikens has hit a home run, a 2-run homer for Kansas City. Gorman Thomas, a home run with nobody on in the 3rd. The Brewers have made 3 outstanding plays, or Kansas City might have an 8 or 10-run lead. Bottom of the 6th, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Paul Molitor facing Larry Gura. Drilled, it could be 2. Molitor will be waved on to second base by Ron Hansen, so he leads off the 6th for the Brewers with a double. Well, several outstanding plays have been made by the Brewers, as we said, but in the 6th inning, With runners on first and third, watch Cecil Cooper, a Gold Glove winner, dives down the line, throws home to Simmons. They get Geronimo in a rundown. He's tagged out by Money. May have saved a big inning for Pete Vukovich. And there is Cooper, who is the on-deck hitter. Robin Yount with Molitor at second base and nobody out facing Gura. Yount 1 for 3 in the ball game. 1 strike by Gura.
That base hit by Molitor was only the third base hit that Gura's given up.
Yount last year had 3 home runs against this Kansas City team. Gura just missed. Count goes 1-1. Good fastball by Gura. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gura has thrown enough breaking pitches in this ball game, Joe, that now when he does throw a fastball, he almost shocks the Brewers hitters. His fastball looks that much better that he's established his breaking stuff.
He's also putting it in a pretty good spot.
1-2 to Yount. Breaking ball in the dirt. Fowler will try for third and make it easily. So on the bouncing breaking ball, Wathan tried to smother it. I'm sure it will be a wild pitch given to Larry Gura.
Here's a look at it. Wathan does a good job to keep it from going back to the screen, but not good enough to keep it in front to where Molitor couldn't advance.
Molitor is one of the most exciting players, I think, in baseball, Joe. He has a tendency to get hurt. He was in college. He had broken bones all over the place from sliding head first. But now he's down at third base with a 2-2 count, nobody out. Robin Yount, the hitter. The infield's back for Kansas City. Brett, tough hop for George. He throws to first, just gets Yount. We may have another argument. Out pops Buck Rogers once again. We've already had a controversy in this ball game. For those of you who joined us who've been watching the Baltimore-Boston game, where Aikens hit a ball off his right foot with the bases loaded, and they discovered shoe polish on the ball, so he hit again. Good play by Brett, Joe.
The hop at the end is the one that almost gets him. Then he had a little trouble getting it out of his glove. There, he's got it. And only his fine arm makes the play.
So now there is 1 out here in County Stadium. Buck Rogers back to his dugout spot.
Umpires really hate to have managers argue most of the time.
Cooper fouls this first pitch off from Gura.
But especially so when a manager is chewing tobacco like Rogers was. They spray you all over.
There's your score. Royals 4, Brewers 1, but the Brewers are threatening once again. Bottom of the 6th. Cooper fouls it out of play. Count goes 2 strikes. Gura way ahead. Kansas City 4 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. Milwaukee 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error. Molitor's at third. They should score him with a sacrifice fly. Molitor tagging up Otis, no chance for a play, so Molitor will come home with the second Brewer run to this 4-2. Sacrifice fly, no time at bat, RBI for Cooper. See, while Heisel steps in, I got to get to that little informal quiz we're talking about. The man's in uniform in the ballpark. Last man in baseball history to make an unassisted triple play. Who is he? And who is the only other man who made one before him? Heisel. Line drive, right field. Almost misjudged by Geronimo, but he recovers nicely. I'll let you think about that quiz. So, Brewers come up with a run as we go to the 7th here in County Stadium. The score, Kansas City 4, Milwaukee 2, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Saturday, Barbara Mandrell and the Mandrell sisters turned Shot-on-House Bowser into an urban cowboy. With special guest Tennessee Ernie Ford. Saturday.
We're brand name furniture, neighborhood stores, and selfish.
To celebrate our 123rd anniversary, Elfish will give you a Florida vacation. 4 days and 3 nights for 2 adults and 2 children at the fabulous Surfside Inn in Daytona Beach. Vacation is yours with any new purchase of $800 or more. 10 attraction tickets to wonderful Disney World also included free. Not a contest, nothing to enter. The vacation is yours. Full details at any Elfish store.
Use your credit to buy you more. That's Elfish.
Since January, Solozzi Edelson Chevrolet has advertised that we would beat or match any bona fide deal on a new Chevrolet car or truck.
Or we'd refund the difference in cash. To date, no one has claimed this cash.
We also offer the lowest interest rates anywhere to qualified buyers.
So visit Solozzi Edelson now for the best deal. York, Roosevelt Roads, and Elmhurst. We're hard to find, but tough to beat.
See Hill Street Blues now on Tuesdays at 8.
Jerry Augustine.
Jerry Augustine is coming in for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's replacing Vukovic. Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek here at Milwaukee's County Stadium. We got quite a ball game with the Royals out in front by the score of 4-2. We're in the 7th inning. While Augustine loosens up, let's take a look at the other scores. In the American League, California did not score top of the first against Minnesota. Zahn against Kuzman. Chicago at Detroit, a rain delay. Baumgartner against Rozema. Texas 4, Cleveland nothing. End of 2, Honeycutt against Garland. And the Yankees have 1 run in, a home run by Mumphrey. They're still batting in the bottom of the 4th. Toronto was leading 2-1. Mayberry a home run. Oakland is at Seattle tonight. Langford against Parrott. And the Boston-Baltimore game is now in the bottom of the 6th. Baltimore 6 and Boston 1. Tanana against Flanagan, a home run by Rice. Montreal 4 and the Mets 1 in the bottom of the 5th. So the throw goes down to second base, and there you see the line score. 4 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error for Kansas City. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for the Brewers. Willie Mays Aikens had a home run in the first inning, a 2-run homer for Aikens. Brett had his first RBI of the season when he drove in Willie Wilson. That was the runs in the first inning for Kansas City. A home run by Gorman Thomas. And then the Kansas City club picked up a run in the 6th, and so did Milwaukee. And that's how we stand. With Hal McRae in the batter's box, and McRae had a tough time against Vukovic, flied out and struck out twice, but now it's Augustine, and it's strike 1. And there he is, the franchise, George Brett. He made more covers of magazines during the winter, and deservedly so. 2 balls and a strike. Augustine yet to win, yet to lose. Been in 2 games. 3 balls, 1 strike.
The Brewers are looking for that left-handed starter. They hope it's going to be Lurch. And they're also looking for somebody to help on the bullpen. They've got Jamie Easterly. There's this man, Augustine. They do not feel, and I don't either, that any team can get by with a one-man bullpen in these days. Even though Raleigh Fingers has a big year, you may need a little more.
St. Louis at Pittsburgh, 0-0, bottom of the 4th, Shirley against Candelaria. The Cubs 1, Philadelphia 0, end of 2, McLaughlin against Espinoza. Cincinnati and Berigny 2, Houston and Ryan 1, end of 4. Negro for Atlanta, Vida Blue for San Francisco, just getting underway. Robin Yount has it. In time, 1 out.
Now, during a course of a ball game, you see a lot of charts being kept. Ordinarily, the chart will be kept by the pitcher who's to be pitching the next day to get his mind in the ball game so he can run down the hitters. Basically, that's a picture of a diamond. What they'll put is what the pitch was that was thrown, where it was in the strike zone. There's Randy Lurch keeping it for the Brewers. He's pitching tomorrow. Where the ball is hit off each pitcher. Whitey Herzog has a very complex system. He uses a different color for each pitcher so they can set their defensive and know how to pitch them. Still have a guy who can execute it, though, and throw it where you want him to.
See, so Cooper easy out. Brett is out. Cooper unassisted. So 2 outs here in the 7th inning with Kansas City leading 4-2, 2 outs and nobody on, and Aikens the batter. The pitching chart that we referred to just a moment ago, everybody has their own system. Tony talked about the one Whitey Herzog has. What it does is develops a pattern. Certain hitters will hit curveballs from, say, if you're a right-hand batter and a left-hand pitcher, the pattern will develop where you'll hit the curveball, and that's where they'll stack the defense. You don't ask a pitcher to throw a particular pitch in a particular spot. You stack the defense.
Yeah, it's tough to take a pitcher who's basically a low ball pitcher and against a low ball hitter say, now pitch him high. You got to go strength against strength at times. I think the advanced scout, on the other hand, is a guy who will go ahead of a club and see who's hot, who's cold, how a hitter might adjust, what a pitcher might be throwing.
2-0 pitch to Aikens is low, and it's ball 3. Here we are in the top of the 7th inning. Kansas City out in front 4-2, and don't forget our 7th inning stretch. Bouncing ball up the middle. Aikens is on with a single. And our 7th inning stretch, our visit with the Hall of Famer, will be Lou Boudreau. What a player.
You think Lou Boudreau doesn't want to jump out of the broadcast booth from the Cubs and help him break that 10-game losing streak? You think he's suffering right along with him, along with Vince Lloyd, the play-by-play man?
I tell you, if he could have a year like he had in 48 for the Red Sox, he could put the Cubs in first place. This is Amos Otis. Otis is 1 for 3. Foul ball out of play. Strike 1. 4 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error for Kansas City. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for Milwaukee. Milwaukee's in great defensive plays. Larry Gura pitching for Kansas City. Vukovic started for the Brewers. Now it's Augustine. Right field. Gorman Thomas, sinking line drive. He's there. Heading played perfectly. That ends the inning. Kansas City does not score. We go into the middle half of the 7th inning with the score here. Kansas City 4, Milwaukee 2. Right now, here's another installment of our 7th inning stretch, and you're going to like this one.
Old Spice presents the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Old Spice Stick Deodorant, the deodorant that works overtime.
At age 24, Lou Boudreau became the player-manager of the Cleveland Indians, and they called him the Boy Wonder. His chunky physique made him an unlikely-looking shortstop, but Lou led the American League in fielding 8 times, and his lifetime fielding percentage is the best ever for a shortstop. At the bat, Lou was a line drive hitter who had one of the most inspirational seasons in history. In 1948, Lou hit .355 and batted in every clutch run as he led the Indians through an historic playoff game and into the World Series. Lou's heroics won him the Most Valuable Player award, and the pennant-hungry Cleveland fans were forever devoted to Lou Boudreau, the Boy Wonder.
Ed's been working overtime practicing his serve. He needs a deodorant that works overtime.
My boss is working overtime on a big presentation. He needs the deodorant that works overtime.
Only Old Spice Stick Deodorant gives you both 24-hour protection from odor, plus that famous Old Spice scent.
My son's been working overtime practicing his saves.
Good thing my Old Spice Stick works overtime, too.
Old Spice Stick, the deodorant that works overtime.
7th inning, Joe Garagiola with Tony Kubek. In Montreal, in Toronto, they call it a toque.
Toque.
Here they call it a babushka.
Well, a babushka's a scarf you put over you. What do they call it in Little Italy?
A barretta.
Barretta?
A barretta to keep the old bald head warm. It is cold here in Milwaukee, but we got quite a ball game.
Barretta sounds like something Mexican to eat. That's a burrito, huh?
No. Here is Ogilvie.
Look out, Ben.
Hit him. Ogilvie is on, so the tying run is at the plate.
He's been going breaking ball a lot on Ogilvy. He just wants to move him back off the plate, and you can see that Ogilvy opens up very soon and doesn't react. It was a brush back pitch that, and you can see the disgust on Gura. Really wasn't that close, except Ogilvy didn't get out of the way.
Brings up Simmons. Simmons was safe on an error his last time up. Curveball is a strike.
It's one of those hit batsmen where you might have, according to the strict interpretation of the rule, where I understand a hitter's got to make an attempt to get out of the way of the ball.
That'd be tough not to give him a base on that one.
I know it. He went right into it, though.
Full foul.
Simmons is finding out what many players have told him when he was in the National League, that National League is a fastball league, American League is a breaking ball league, and he has made the comment, don't they ever throw any fastballs in this league? It's changeup, curve, slider. He will adjust, though, won't he?
Too good a hitter not to. Popped up, short left field. Washington says, I'll take it. He does. Simmons pops to Washington. So here is Gorman Thomas. Thomas had a big home run in that third inning. And with the base runner on, he is the tying run. 4-2 is the score. Kansas City out in front. We're in the bottom of the seventh. Didn't get it.
Gorman knows what he's up there to do right now.
And so does Gura know what he's up there to do.
Interesting to see if he gives him any strikes. That ball was out of the strike zone. Now he's ahead. Gorman, a free swinger, looking to pull the ball, hit a home run.
Curveball misses. His ratio last season, Gorman Thomas, was a home run every 16.5 times at bat. Drove in a run every 6 at bats. Curveball.
Gura is one of those pitchers, Joe, who, if you were going to get yourself out, he will let you. Here's the check swing on the breaking ball. What I mean by that is, if you are a bad ball hitter, or you go after a lot of bad pitches, Gura will throw you bad pitches and say, go ahead, get yourself out. Get yourself in the hole. Let's see if Thomas goes to that spread out stance when he goes to right field now.
It's 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. 4-2. Kansas City leading bottom of the seventh. 18,858 the attendance here. Misses with a fastball. Don't forget the legends of golf right after baseball, and they got quite a race going there. Thompson and Nagel, 15 under. Gene Littler and Bob Rosberg, 14 under. Suchak and Sifford, 13. Tommy Bolton, Art Wall, 12 under. DiVincenzo and Bob Golby, 11 under. Arnold Palmer, Finsterwald, 10 under. Misses with the curveball. So the legends of golf, looks like a fantastic finish.
Looks like anybody's ball game when that one under.
Oh, man. DiVincenzo and Golby have moved in there. Palmer and Finsterwald, only 10. 5 shots back. Austin, Texas, legends of golf. Struck him out. Got him on strikes. Big strikeout. That's a 4th strikeout of the ball game for Gura, and he got it in a pretty good spot. Brings up Don Money, who was out on strikes the last time up.
How's that for confidence in one's breaking stuff? 3 balls, 2 strikes. He threw some kind of curve. Down low and in.
That's the difference between the minor leaguer and the major leaguer. He can control something besides the fastball when he has to get it over. Bouncing ball. George Brett, a big hop. In time. That ends the inning. So at the end of 7 innings of baseball, the score here is Kansas City 4 and Milwaukee 2.
Yes,
Yes, sir. The package will be on your desk tomorrow, and I say that with the utmost confidence. I will take care of it. How will I take care of it? I don't know how I'm going to take care of it if I knew how.
When it comes to sending a package somewhere overnight, most forceful executives become as helpless as a 2-year-old.
You'll take care of it?
And as a secretary, you have to take care of them.
How will you take care of it? How do you
Just call Federal Express.
Oh.
Federal Express, when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight.
Fact. Every time you start your car, you burn more than gas, you burn money. Gas money. Because gas-robbing friction steals miles from your car and money from your pocket. What can you do? Fact. Use the black motor oil Arco Graphite. The oil with graphite. The oil that gives you the best gas mileage of any other leading oil. Drive further for less gas money with Arco Graphite. The oil that's fact, not friction. Look for Arco Graphite's $1.80 refund offer.
Outside, the sea throws you an angry coming home party. But below, there's comfort. Introducing new Royal Comfort Pipe Tobacco. Now you can take comfort in knowing there's a good-tasting aromatic pipe tobacco specially blended to smoke cool, to always satisfy. Pipe after pipe after pipe. New Royal Comfort. If it's a cool smoke you seek, take comfort.
Competes on NBC Sports World tomorrow.
John Wathan leads it off for Kansas City here in the 8th inning against Jerry Augustine. Tomorrow will be a special day around the country, certainly a long-awaited one. Kind of the forgotten people. The Vietnam veteran will be remembered. Fastball outside. In all the baseball parks, time will be taken to say thanks to the guys. And I guess this is just a personal opinion, but it took the Iran crisis with the hostages to shed some spotlight on the Vietnam veteran. Easy bouncing ball, one away. So Congress, with a special recognition around the country and baseball, will join in and say, thanks, guys, we appreciate what you did.
Well, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn has set up ceremonies in Major League parks all over the country to honor Vietnam veterans. We've got a vet down in the truck, don't we, working this ball game?
John Filippelli is our big man down there. Vietnam veteran. I'm sure you have family and friends. Tomorrow it's their day. Geronimo takes a fastball. It is a ball.
Joe, I also thought it was interesting what Brian Gumbel mentioned in his pregame show of Commissioner Bowie Kuhn, the statement he made. Look out.
About the violence in the ballparks.
Oh, yeah. That they would apparently fly in any fan or anyone else who would testify against a fan who's causing trouble. I think.
Strike is called on the outside corner. Augustine gets his first strikeout. Geronimo is out.
You know, I think there's, to add a little bit to that, a little responsibility should go on the shoulders of broadcasters. You look at a Vin Scully out in Dodger Stadium or a Marty Brennaman in Cincinnati. They're calm broadcasters, very objective. They don't incite fans to do things. They don't sit and slosh beer down and urge fans to slosh beer down. Get them all excited and where you might have some fan trouble.
4-2. Look out. The bat slipped right out of his hand. This is Dave Chalk. So Commissioner Kuhn says baseball will fly in the fan or the player, and they will be prosecuting any violence in the ballparks. And this is a direct outcome of Dennis Martinez getting hit and requiring stitches and hit with a bottle in White Sox Park. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, and Dave Parker, where they threw the bullets at him, he made a nice statement last week on our telecast. How fans can help the situation out.
Baseball park, baseball game, it's a place for fun. It's synonymous. Should be. 3-1 pitch. Didn't mean to swing. Augustine has it. Flip in time. So it's an easy inning. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning here with Kansas City still leading by 2 the score. The Royals 4 and the Brewers 2.
Tomorrow is taking shape. Ford EXP, a new front-wheel drive sport coupe. Carefully instrumented to keep you informed. All from a beautifully contoured command position. And EXP is a 2+, personal, practical, with room for 2+ your gear. A lot of room for a lot of living. Tomorrow is here, the 1982 EXP from the world of Ford.
You're looking at super paint from Sherwin-Williams. It's so chemically superior, even to other Sherwin-Williams paints, that when you use it, we guarantee you won't have to paint again for 10 full years. And we know how you feel about painting. Super paint. It's available in interior and exterior, but it's available only at a Sherwin-Williams store.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball. Tony, what about your quiz?
Well, the last man in baseball to make an unassisted triple play back in 1968. He's in uniform. You got him? There he is. Ron Hansen. He was with Washington. Did it against Cleveland. The second part of the quiz is he's also in the Brewers organization. Special assignment scout. 1927. Johnny Newen. Unassisted triple play. Remember Johnny Newen? Sure. Yankee organization.
Yeah. He was managing Kansas City when I was playing. Charlie Moore is a...
That is Moore, Joe said, the pinch hitter.
I thought it was.
He's at a 300 season for this Brewer ball club. They've got 4 catchers on this team. They're trying to trade one, but Charlie Moore can play left field for you, too, and do some other things. He runs pretty well.
Buck Martinez is just really comes out to ballpark, doesn't have much to do. They've been writing stories about it. In fact, he said, hey, tell my wife and I'm all right. I'm still with the club. Nobody knows I'm here.
Look out.
Gora knocks the ball down. Brett's going to make a play. They get him. And Gora may be hurt. Gora is walking around. Here comes Jim Fry. Mickey Cobb, the trainer. Gora walking around. He is in pain.
Looked like it hit his glove, Joe, but it may have hit more than that. It looked like it hit him on the heel of the glove. We'll show you again. Had no time whatsoever to react. Somehow he got the glove in the way, Joe. This bull is an absolute bullet off Charlie Moore's bat. Great camera coverage. That ball's going to get him right in the knee. Knocks his glove off. First instinct, go get the ball. He is a super athlete. He's a gymnast. Another angle. Fine play by George Brett.
They're still out there attending to him.
How he got his glove down at all as hard as that ball was hit is beyond me.
Here's another look on the isolate. Right back at him. Well, you're only about 55 feet from home plate when you release it, and here it comes right back at
See,
you.
a great example when you hear the word instinct. Watch what he does instinctively after the ball, before the pain even registers. Now he sees the play is made. Now he thinks of pain for the first time. Mickey Cobb spraying, trying to freeze the area to prevent swelling. I think it's ethyl chloride. Ethyl chloride, I'm not sure of the pronunciation.
Luckily, it's not his pitching hand. It looked like it hit him on the right wrist. So Gora is going to take a couple warm-up tosses. While he does that, let's take a look at some other scores. We're in the bottom of the 7th at Montreal. Expos leading 4-1 over the Mets. Rogers against Jones. St. Louis nothing. Pittsburgh nothing. Bottom of the 5th. Shirley against Candelaria. The Cubs 5. Philadelphia 1 at the end of 4. McLaughlin against Espinoza. Cincinnati 2. Houston 1, bottom of the 7th. Berenia against Ryan. Negro for Atlanta. Blue for San Francisco. And tonight it's San Diego at Los Angeles. Minnesota 1, California nothing. Bottom of the 4th. Kuzman against Zahn. Chicago, Detroit, they started that game. It's been delayed by rain. Texas 7, Cleveland 1, bottom of the 6th. And the Yankees scored 1 in the bottom of the 4th, but Toronto still leads in the bottom of the 5th, 4-1. Baltimore 6, Boston 2, bottom of the 7th. Left field. Otis is there. Makes the grab.
Cura's really pitching a ball game. He's allowed just 3 base hits. And he's had this Brewer ball club, some say the most powerful hitting team in baseball. You get a lot of arguments, but just a little off stride, a little bit on the end of the bat. We hear so much about the radar guns and velocity. You know, they forget the importance of movement on the ball, which he has, change of speeds, and location in the strike zone, which probably rates way ahead of, for most pitchers anyway, unless you're overpowering, way ahead of velocity.
This is Robin Yount. George Brett has the big hop. It's going to be an easy inning. 1, 2, 3. Brewers are down. We complete 8 full innings here. We complete 8 innings. If they're complete, they're full. The score is Kansas City 4, Milwaukee 2.
Country on earth where photography is more a way of life than Japan. And because they've been first with so many innovations, no camera company is more responsible for this than Pentax. First, where it means something to be first.
Nobody has to tell me to get on the stick. With the wide stick, I don't waste time or money. See, Speed Stick deodorant is so much wider than the other leading stick. Gives you effective protection in just a few strokes. And if you've been using an aerosol, look, you'd use up 2 3-ounce sprays and start a 3rd before you'd use up 1 2.5-ounce Speed Stick. So get on the stick.
Makes sense.
Speed Stick deodorant, the wide stick.
By men.
This commercial is based on a true story.
Hello? Tracy. No, we don't need a babysitter tonight. Thanks anyway.
After a family bought an Atari video game, they had no trouble getting babysitters.
Oh, boy, Dot. Hello? Kate. No, we don't need a babysitter tonight. Bye.
Everybody enjoys Atari because Atari has so many different games to enjoy.
Hello? Karen. No, we don't need a babysitter tonight.
No other company offers you as many different video game cartridges as Atari.
Arnold Palmer, Sammy Snead, Don January lead the greatest names in golfing history in the Legends of Golf later today on NBC.
The new second baseman for the Brewers is
Legends of Golf later today on NBC.
The new second baseman for the Brewers is Edgardo Romero, as Willie Wilson makes the first pitch for ball 1. He'll be 24 years old in December, Romero. Wilson doesn't get it. 1 ball and 1 strike. Born in Santurce, Puerto Rico, now lives in Rio Piedras, Puerto Rico. He once struck out 120 batters in 8 games, Romero. Playing second base today, though, as we look at Willie Wilson. Out of play. 4-2 is the score. Kansas City is leading. Willie Wilson, switch hitter. Last year became only the 2nd player in history to get 100 or more hits from both sides of the plate. Gary Templeton, St. Louis in 1979. The other player. Curveball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Kansas City very easily could have a big lead in this ballgame aside from 3 exceptional defensive plays. Money, Gorman Thomas, and Cecil Cooper.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
They've also stranded 8 base runners, so they still are not getting that timely hitting, Joe. That Fry once.
Popped up, foul territory. Cecil Cooper. Does he have room? Yes, he does.
Chuck Killer, when he was a coach for Herzog with the Royals, now he's with St. Louis, really got Wilson to cut down on his swing. He overstrided there. He got fooled by an off-speed pitch and had that body way out in front. Here, lunging, if you want.
Here is UL Washington. most often asked question of UL is, what does UL stand for? And he finally gave him a pretty simple answer. He said, it doesn't stand for anything but UL. My mama called me UL, and that's what it is.
He's turning out to be a pretty good shortstop,
Yes,
too.
sir.
He's gotten off to a real hot start. Really one of the only Royals who's doing a lot of hitting so far this year.
Takes a strike, 2 balls and a strike. He came into the game hitting at .353.
He's one of the players, Joe, that came through the owner of the Kansas City Royals, Mr. Ewing Kaufman's Royals Baseball Academy. Some said it was a flop. Frank White came through at UL Washington, about 7 or 8 players who have made the major league level, so it wasn't really a flop.
Hot smash. Robin Yount, nice play, long throw. Got him! What a play, and UL doesn't believe it. Another great play by the Milwaukee Brewers.
That is 4, and this will give you an idea of what Robin Yount has rounded into in about his 7th year of Major League play. He came up as an 18-year-old. Washington, remember, has an awful lot of speed. Plant the right foot to throw. There are very few shortstops who would have made that play from where he started, because he had to go 5, 6 steps before he got to the ball, Joe. Then had to right himself and still make a strong throw.
Close. Look at UL. He didn't think it was close at all. He thought he had it.
Cooper did a pretty good job of stretching right there, too, didn't he?
UL still upset. Can't say that you blame him. Here's McRae. Foul out of play. I think the thing that surprised me on Yount, Tony, was when after the diving catch, he did not take a step. He just braced himself and threw. Had he taken a step, he would have lost the play.
I think it was a good call by Brummett, the first base umpire. I think he had him as one of those bang-bang deals, but he did have him by, maybe just a foot, but he had him.
Well, you pointed out that Cooper stretched. Cooper stretched, but he kept that glove out there. A lot of times you see a first baseman stretch, and he's got the glove in on his chest, and that doesn't do you any good. High. If you're going to stretch, get that glove out there so it means something.
Talked a lot about the Brewers' power. They've kept themselves close in this game with their defense.
Straight away center field. Molitor is going back near the warning track. Has room and makes the grab. So that ends the 9th inning. Kansas City does not score. We go into the bottom half of the 9th inning. Kansas City 4, Milwaukee 2. It'll be the middle of the lineup. Cooper, Heisel, and Ogilvie for the Brewers.
Sailing a tall ship is an old dream, but some men still dream it.
Stand by the headsail. Stand by the fore.
All bad.
Hang up on the stack. Picking up the starboard tack. Take in the main top. Let's put her to sleep. It's Miller time.
Miller time. Time to head for shore and the best tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. Miller tastes too good to hurry through. When it's time to relax, we've got the beer.
Head and Shoulders doesn't have it. Selsun Blue doesn't have it. Only Denerex has it. An extra relief medicine to stop dandruff itch. You can feel it tingle.
All 3 have one medicine for dandruff itch, but only Denerex adds a second medicine, an exclusive anti-itch medicine many dermatologists recommend.
You can feel it tingle. That's extra relief medicine, and only Denerex has it.
In regular or New Mountain Fresh Herbal, Denerex stops dandruff itch with an extra relief medicine.
Get down home to North Carolina. Capture all the explosive action and blazing speeds of the Charlotte 300. Then, the sensational Bart Connor competes in the International Gymnastics Classic. Plus, join Minnesota Fats for the Pro Trick Shot Invitational tomorrow.
Joe Garagiola with Tony Coop back here in County Stadium, where the Royals lead the Brewers 4-2. It's a trip for me, kind of a nostalgic trip to come here, Tony. I played the first with Pittsburgh in '52 when this park opened up.
I worked out here as a high school kid in 1952.
First pitch swung on deep to right field. Geronimo's going back. He makes the catch. Well, there's one away. Had a good visit with Bob Uecker before the game. Tommy Ferguson, who's now the traveling secretary, showing us pictures of when he was the clubhouse guy. And telling me I still owe him money.
Every team's got an institution. That's got to be Ferguson. He was a bat boy with the old Boston Braves, wasn't he? Then came here when Mr. Perini brought the ball club here.
That's right.
Milwaukee.
Hey, we got to do our voting yet for the most valuable player as Larry Heisel walks up there. Fouled out of play. Last week we disagreed. Tony thought it should have been Lee Lacy. I thought it was Jason Thompson. And Steve Dans, our statistician, was the tiebreaker, and he voted for Jason Thompson. Tony hasn't talked to him for a week.
Disco Dans is on my list.
So, one strike. Low, 1-1. Who do you pick in this game?
I got to pick Gura at this point. You know, Aiken's got a big home run in the ballgame, but Gura's allowed just 3 base hits to one of the most potent hitting teams in baseball.
Foul out of play. So if Larry Gura holds on, he'll not only be the most valuable player, but Tony Kubek and I agree. Foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. So this week's NBC Miller High Life Player of the Game is Larry Gura. And Miller High Life is happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Larry Gura to the Special Olympics.
Still got to get through Heisel and Ogilvy. One man's led this league in RBIs, the other tied the league in home runs last year.
There was a curveball, changed speeds, and Heisel becomes strikeout victim number 5. So it's all up to Ben Ogilvy. 4-2. Larry Gura, a 3-hitter. It's been kind of a polite 3-hitter. He has struck out 5. He has walked 1. He has hit 1. He gave up a home run to Gorman Thomas in the 3rd inning. And then the sacrifice fly by Cecil Cooper drove in the other run for Milwaukee in the 6th.
Gura's 0 for 2 thus far this season, but his earned run average is beneath 3 before this game. So he's pitched well, but they haven't gotten him any runs, which has been typical of this Kansas City attack.
He's got a quick strike on Ogilvy. Kansas City scored 3 runs in the top of the 1st. Single by Brett to drive in Wilson, and a 2-run homer by Aikens, a strike 2 on Ogilvy.
He has pitched Ogilvy as well as anybody. There's 2 strikeouts, and then he hit him, brushing him back to the first pitch the last time up, trying to move him off the plate. But he has just thrown breaking ball after breaking ball.
This could be it. Short right field. And Geronimo makes the catch that ends the ball game, and the Kansas City Royals defeat the Milwaukee Brewers by the score of 4-2. Larry Gura all the way. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Dad, why do you change your own oil?
To make sure I'm getting Valvoline, and because it's an easy way to save us money. Valvoline's got oil change instructions on the back.
Can I try, Dad?
Sure. We're saving about $10 every time we change our own oil filter.
Valvoline makes it simple, whether you do it yourself or do it together.
Dad, did you always want a son?
Thought I did.
Valvoline, when you want to do it yourself.
I get all kinds in here. Some like it straight, some with a twist, but they all want the best disposable razor. If they like it straight, it's Gillette's Good News Razor, the Twin Blade Classic. If they like it with a twist, it's Gillette's Swivel Razor, twin blades plus a moving head that hugs your face. Both shave better than any single blade disposable.
Good news or swivel. Gillette puts 2 great shaves at your disposal.
So what'll it be, straight or with a twist?
Here's how to save some money on your homeowner's insurance and get some peace of mind, too. If you want to protect your home and family against fire and burglary, State Farm wants to offer you some encouragement. Install deadbolt locks, a smoke alarm, and a fire extinguisher, and get 5% off your homeowner's premium. With State Farm's Home Alert program, you'll save some money on your insurance and maybe something a lot more important.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
With Tony and the Royals had lost 3 in a row, the Brewers had won 4 in a row, so the streaks came to an end.
Well, this team that Bud Selig and Harry Dalton play together, even though they lost today, they showed they can play some defense aside from hitting the baseball. And Vukovic settles down, Slayton comes back, Caldwell comes back, and Fingers does well. They're going to be in the pennant race.
Well, Larry Cora was in complete control. He ends up the winning pitcher. Vukovic was the losing pitcher as the Kansas City Royals defeat Milwaukee 4-2. And we'll be back with a closing comment right after this.
Camille White, University of Michigan. Heinrich Jekyll, Technical University of Graz. Jay Sakioka, Ford engineers around the world created a world car, Ford Escort. With better gas mileage ratings than Volkswagen Rabbit, Honda Accord, Toyota Corolla hatchback. With front-wheel drive traction and four-wheel independent suspension. And now, Ford Escort is outselling every imported car line in America. Ford Escort, built to take on the world and doing it.
A little Old Spice has a lot of rewards. Old Spice is the clean, fresh, masculine scent so many women love. So even if you love only one woman, you'll love Old Spice, the man scent so many women love.
Take a balloon, take a plane, get down home to North Carolina. Welcome to Charlotte. Our engines are rearing to fly. Our gas tanks are full. We've hit the pits and the pressure is on. It's Southern Belles and good old boys. It's the richest late model sportsman race ever. Capture all the explosive action and blazing speeds of the Charlotte 300. Then, America's best, including the sensational Bart Connor, compete in the exciting International Gymnastics Classic. That's all tomorrow on NBC Sports World.
Kansas City a 4-2 win over Milwaukee, and Tony, the way George Brett played today, he had one base hit, but hit the ball good. Looks like he may be off and running.
You know, Joe, this may be the earliest in the season that I can ever think of players' scoreboard watching. The Kansas City players are watching the scoreboard to see what Oakland's doing. They're 10 games behind them. Could make it only 9 games. Oakland plays tonight.
Well, they won their game, and now it's all up to Oakland. So, Joe Garagiola with Tony Kupak saying so long from County Stadium, where we saw Kansas City defeat Milwaukee 4-2. NBC's baseball game of the week has been brought to you by Menon. Menon products take care of people who take care of themselves. And by Ford and your Ford dealer, who invites you to test drive the EXP, America's new personal sports coupe. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. You've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Pentax, the makers of the new 35mm ME Super Camera. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. The coordinating producer of baseball and producer of today's telecast is Michael Weissman. Directed by John Gonzalez. Technical director Len Stucker. Associate director John Filippelli. Associate producer Michael Hadley. Next Saturday, baseball, the Cincinnati Reds against the St. Louis Cardinals or Minnesota at Boston. Check your local listings. Tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern Time, NBC Sports World, followed by Legends of Golf. And now, stay tuned for the Legends of Golf. What an event, all right here on NBC, the innovative leader in sports television.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. United serves more of this land than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports, the leader in innovative sports television.
Saturday, Bowser rocks with the Mandrell sisters, and BJ's life is in danger when he loses his memory. Then Buford takes on the Brotherhood on NBC.
Hi, I'm Joe Flaherty. Be sure to watch SCTV here on WMAQ, Channel 5, Saturdays right after Saturday Night Live.